Okay, and we are into the draft. We have Alphalol 0 on the blue side for game 1, and Google East on the red side, which means that Alphalol 0 is going to have first pick here. Let's see how that affects their draft. They're going to take away the Jinx right off of the bat. Jinx is pretty strong this patch, I think. Has a lot of range and scales pretty well with the current crit itemization that has been really dominant. Eye Edge into double Zeal item. So I do you think that this is a specific champion pool thing, or do you think it's just a general metagame champion that Alphalol 0 doesn't want to play around?
I think it's just a champion they don't want to play around.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we see a Caitlyn ban coming out from the red side, and a Tristana ban, so a lot of, 3 marksmen already off the table here. It's going to pinch the pool pretty extensively. Right, yeah. Both teams trying to take away these sort of contested long-range carries. So I expect to see early marksman pickups just to get something before the pool gets clinched down a little too narrow. And an Aurelion ban comes out.
Targeted ban there at Vanguard.
Yeah, it's not a marksman ban, but maybe it's an indirect bid for bot lane control, since Aurelion is such a strong roamer. Can put a lot of pressure on the bot lane, especially early game. Is one of the few champions that can reliably roam before level 6 without losing too much. And the Vel'Koz ban coming out from blue side.
Do you think that's a mid lane ban or a support ban on the Vel'Koz?
Yeah, that's a good question. I'm not super familiar with Google East's champion pool, so it could be either. There's also potential for the flex. Oh, and Mundo left open gets first picked by Alphalol 0. A really strong pick this patch.
Yeah, so Mundo just got buffed. Was it this patch or the one before?
I believe this patch. And no, wait. Yes, this patch.
So
and
he
I
increased his healing rate there on his ult from 60 to 100%, I believe it was.
yeah, nearly double. Yeah, I think one thing to note is something I've been thinking about is that a lot of the power of that is actually less in the amount of health you get, and then rather than it's the rate at which you accrue health, because it means you can actually heal tank through and ignite in a lot of cases, whereas you would have died previously. So we see Rakan Kai'Sa getting locked in from Google East. Interestingly, not taking the Zyra Rakan, foregoing that completely and just taking Kai'Sa. And we see the Kog'Maw pickup from Alphalol 0 into this Kai'Sa. I think this makes sense. Kog'Maw has a long auto attack range, can pressure Kai'Sa in lane, despite normally not being the strongest laner, just because Kai'Sa is such a short auto attack range, has difficulty controlling the minion wave in the early phases of the game.
There we go. I was going to say, I wouldn't be surprised to see them pick up a sort of defensive support here before they get the chance to take them off the board.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Playing Braum Kog'Maw is always really strong. You already have this Mundo to front line, so it looks like Alphalol 0 is gearing up to play the sort of front-to-back team fight already. They have these sort of slows, they have these pick tools, they have ways to buffer for this Kog'Maw, and we see from Google East a very different sort of game plan coming out of here. We see this Malzahar locked in, we have this Rakan for engage, so it's going to be a lot of pressure on Google East to see if they can get to the carries and access the champions they need to eliminate before this Mundo sort of just clocks them with his immense health regeneration, since he's pretty hard to kill.
I wouldn't be surprised to see some sort of pick-based jungler coming out here as well.
Right.
Because I feel like it's going to be very difficult for them to win team fights in the late game.
Right, for sure. Yeah, I want to see Google East here play for sort of early game pick-based composition, just because as it stands right now, Mundo Kog'Maw really just outscales them quite heavily. Kai'Sa is not a slouch when it comes to late game damage, but just compared to Kog'Maw with the safety of Kog'Maw's auto attack range, it's going to be a little bit iffy to play front to back. And we see in these bans taking away Twisted Fate along with the Aurelion earlier, so really wanting to prevent Vanguard from having access to this global pressure. And we see bans on 2 high pressure early junglers from Alphalol 0, Warwick and Gragas, both off of the table.
Yeah, I would like to see Blue Team here pick maybe something a little earlier game for the jungle or for the mid laners. They need something to get them through till the Kog and the Mundo start picking up.
Right, for sure.
Because right now they're going to be ceding all jungle control. They need something to take that back.
Yeah, they can get some kind of early dueling jungler and then maybe some kind of mid laner, just a control mage perhaps, just maintain mid priority and fight against the Malzahar push. I think that would be really ideal for their composition.
Absolutely. But they definitely need something to project power from that mid or the jungle in the early game.
Right, for sure. Especially since you're fighting against Malzahar Skarner, which is immense pressure. And Xerath looks like it's the pick of choice here. I think this makes a lot of sense. It's a little tricky for Malzahar to get on top of him. Xerath can just wave clear at range. He does have to be really careful though, because Malzahar flash ult into the Skarner seat crowd control can spell death. Yeah, so vision control will be...
Yeah, I think it's going to be interesting to see whether or not he can avoid being picked off by and farm safely.
Right. Oh, and a Singe gets picked up here. I actually like this a lot in the Mundo. Yeah.
This is fantastic.
It does mean that Mundo is going to have a lot of magic resist options available to him, since Malzahar, Kai'Sa, and Singe all do a fair amount of magic damage. But Singe is nice just because even though Mundo is not really killable, Singe can sort of just handshake on that and say, like, I'm not going to fight you, I'm just going to fight your minions, and turn into a farm lane. And I think Singe actually is alright with that situation. He's not quite as tanky as Mundo, but he has a little bit more natural utility in his kit, a little more presence, especially if he itemizes Rylai, which is standard right now in a lot of Singed builds.
Yeah, I'd like to see... I think that the Red Team has a lot of options to invade, put down pressure in the jungle, you know, take those early objectives. They project a lot of strength from all of their lanes. I think it's you know, up to them now. They've chosen a comp which empowers them to make early plays. The question is, can they pull them off?
Right, for sure. If Google East can get ahead in the early game, start to snowball, they have so much crowd control, so many options to just continue to maintain pressure, but they're going to be fighting against the scaling power of Mundo, the mid-game spike of Kog'Maw, the wave clear of Xerath. So I definitely think that Alphalol is on the defensive, and I see Google East as being sort of the beatdown in this case.
Yeah, absolutely.
But if they drop the ball, they get outscaled very quickly. So
yes,
they need to play a really tight early game, play around Skarner and Hypebot's early jungle routing, and that's going to be their sort of ticket into entering the mid game with tempo. So I guess while we're killing some time, how are you doing this morning, Carlton?
Oh, you know, doing great. Sun's come out, snow's disappeared.
Ah, excellent.
East coast of America is, you know, improving greatly from a couple months ago.
Yeah.
How about yourself?
Pretty good. I suppose good morning is not super appropriate. I woke up somewhat recently on the West Coast, so
you're not that wrong for me either. So.
Excellent. Just a great lazy Saturday. Yeah, it's a best of 3, so we're gonna have at least one more game after this one.
3 quality games to you today.
Yeah.
Just in case we didn't mention it earlier, this is the quarterfinals or the round of 8. So the winner of this game goes directly to the semis.
Oh, it's pretty exciting. So this is a high stakes game. Tournament life right here.
Absolutely. All right. I think it's that time. We have to make our predictions.
Oh yeah.
Who are you going to pick? What's your take?
I mean, I'm really feeling Alphalol 0 here. I have some insider information from Prashant and Mundo. They actually didn't go with their Draven Darius bot lane plan, which surprised me a little bit. But all the same, I think their draft is really solid. They have a great front-to-back team fight. They have a lot of clear win conditions. Whereas the composition from Google East, it's strong and they have a clear pick win condition. But besides that, they don't have a lot of options. They're not quite as flexible as the Alphalol roster. So we'll have to see if they're able to. I think the Google East win condition is harder to execute on, just because I think you have to play such a perfect early game.
I agree. The only thing I see in their favor is that they have a lot of CC, and CC can make a lot of things happen. So.
Yeah. It's never quite over as long as there's crowd control on the table. There's always room for a lucky pick.
Oh, particularly when you have Malzahar Skarner, there's a few options better.
Yeah.
Right.
That's some best-in-class crowd control right there. And we're going to be loading onto the Rift any moment now.
Nonetheless, despite playing devil's advocate, I'm on the same boat as you. I tend to favor the Alpha Google team comp here.
Yeah. Yeah, one thing that is still quite surprising to me is the lack of priority on Zyrakan. I know it has been nerfed the past couple patches, but leaving that up, especially after there are so many marksman bans, it's a little odd to me. It seems like they really value this Kai'Sa. So since they did place so much value on it, I'll be interested to see if it ends up panning out for them. And we're moving at level 1. We see a defensive fan coming out from Google East, but Alphalol looking to 5-stack invade here. They have Bromson available, so there is potential for something to happen. Yeah. They end up walking over this ward.
Oh, here we go,
Oh, we're going to fight at level 1. Rakan gets a huge knockup. Bronc concussive blows going down. Malzahar drops his dot, but Mezuzah's hitting, but they've already lost a member. They're down to min. Gelzilla trapping them with the Singe poison. It doesn't look like Alphalol can get out of this. Kai'Sa flashing forward, getting the Bronc concussive blows proc, and Singe is going low. He makes it out alive, and it's a 4-for-0 level 1. That's a disaster for Alphalol 0, and Carlton and I might have to eat our words right here because this is an immense lead.
I think that was just, I don't know, like, when you have a scaling comp, you know, risking it in that blind 5-man invade early is a little bit...
Yeah. I mean, if they're able to catch someone off guard with the Bronc concussive blows, it's potentially quite good. The really critical thing there was Rakan's huge knockup, and Hypebot actually reactively skilled his fracture in order to get extra crowd control off of that skirmish. I think he got 1 or 2 stuns off, and that was so critical. We'll see if Alphalol can come back from this huge early deficit. It's going to be rough for them.
I just want to give a shout out to Singed as well. He played that beautifully.
Yeah, right, for sure. Using that ghost.
He had like an entire team in his poison for a good like 10 seconds, that fight. Just drafting in front of them as they tried to run away.
Yeah, just getting so much damage off. Really easy to underestimate that level 1 Singe damage. It's not something you get to see very often because normally he's getting auto-attacked while he tries to farm or is proxying, but if you can get Singe poison on 5 people at level 1, that pretty good spell.
Yeah.
We see a fast recall from Skarner. He was chunked out from that level 1, and means that he has to take an early recall, but all things considered, it's not too bad for him. Zedia is just going to be clearing his side of the jungle, doing his red, and isn't going to be in position to gank either mid or bottom lane here. There isn't too much vision available from either team. Could potentially make something happen bottom lane here. He's looking to make a play, and he's waiting in the bush for an overextension. The lane position looks good, and he's moving forward. He's looking to dash in, has his level 3, gets the knock-up. Not quite. He's getting kited out. Rakan gets knocked out. Kog'Maw needs a single auto, and then Zedia actually picks up the kill here. Gelzilla here for the teleport, picks one up on Mezuzah on the back end. Zedia trying to escape. Bronc concussive blows goes down, trying to turn one back on Singe. He's so low. He needs one more auto attack, cannot get it. Kai'Sa finishes Braum off, and oh no, it's another disastrous exchange for Alpha. They pick up 1 kill and lose 3 members of their own. This is impressively deep pit that Alphalol has dug for themselves. Yeah,
There's really much else you can say about it.
Yeah. So I think at this point Alphalol sort of just has to concede the early game. There isn't too much more they can really do. They just have to really survive. They can still outscale and win in the later phase of the game, but what do you see as their game plan in this position? How do they stabilize?
I mean, they have to focus on vision here, I think. They need to focus on getting defensive wards up and just, you know, making good rotations. I mean, looking at Red Team, like, in order to take objectives like towers, they're going to have to dive, right? They don't have a particularly strong siege.
Yeah.
And so, you know, that's, I think, where they're going to be able to look to make a comeback.
Right.
So, unfortunately for them, if we look at the first Drake, Infernal.
Oh.
Just what I didn't want to see.
Oh, what a heartbreaker. And compositionally, it means that Google East is going to have Infernal with a composition where 3 or 4 champions are looking to build damage items. You're going to see Malzahar, Kai'Sa, and Singe looking to benefit. Skarner gets a little bit of benefit from Infernal, not quite as much. Rakan doesn't mind the extra AP as well, so it's just going to be a really high quality Infernal Drake if they can get it. Skarner, though, looking here to potentially play for... Oh. No, he's just waiting. I think he might have gone spot out by that mid lane ward, but doesn't look like Vanguard's playing around this yet. He's a little overextended here. Hypebot tags him with the Fracture, but doesn't go in for the auto attack proc. Been a little too close to tower. He had to commit Flash, which he did not have available, so it's not really going to turn to much.
Something else I'd like to point out here. So all of the kills essentially went on Kai'Sa and Singed. So really the onus is now on them to make plays for their team, to use that lead and to turn it into something for their team. So, given that we have such strength in the bot lane, I'd really like to see Red Team take that Infernal Drake as soon as possible.
Yeah, for sure. Speaking of Red Team's bottom lane, Zedia here is going for another gank, going on Kai'Sa right here. Braum concussive blows, not on anyone yet. Dags Kai'Sa, and Prashant is hitting the Kog'Maw, getting a lot of autos off, and Braum picking up aggro, looking to tank, and they get the shutdown using Braum's Ignite onto Kai'Sa. Not the best recipient of that kill, but a kill nonetheless. That's going to be a starting point for them to sort of claw their way back in this game, but Kog'Maw still at a huge item and gold deficit, down 14 CS at this point, down 3 kills of gold, 2 assists. Let's see what Prashant can buy on his recall here. Looks like he's actually going to stay in lane and shove this one out, so we're not going to see what he's going to buy quite yet. If we take a look on the rest of the map, though, looks like it's just a farm lane top. Even though Singe is ahead, it's pretty hard for him to solo kill Mundo. So Mundo's just going to keep on farming, try to play for his late game.
Here's a question. Do you think the... so you notice the Singed has 2 10-stack skills. Do you think he's going to turn one of them into a Magi's?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I'd be pretty excited about it, honestly.
I'd be hyped. I'd want to see that.
I think it's probably a little unnecessary of a risk to take.
It's
But
extremely unlikely.
I think it'd be really great if he could do it for the viewers, for everyone
So much
here.
respect. Alright.
Yeah, we see Hypebot taking blue for himself, actually, not passing it to Melsar.
So we noticed that the gold lead hasn't actually changed over the last like 3 or 4 minutes. It's been pretty stable, and the CS deficits have remained pretty much constant as well.
Right, yeah. The big thing we're going to have to watch is if Google East can convert to first tower.
Yeah. Again, I would really like to see them take this Infernal Drake. I think a couple of chances here.
Oh, hold that thought. As a fight is breaking out bottom lane, Hypebot gets his ultimate onto Mezusa. Mezusa goes down without a real fight. Uses his flash even to try and escape, but there's no way he can get out of that one. It's going to be another kill going on to the bot lane. Yellow Emperor taking a little bit of damage here, but it looks like he's alright.
Here we go.
Yeah, there's the dragon that you've been mentioning. This is the perfect time to do it. Mezusa is not on the map. There's no way for Xerath to collapse. And it's just going to be an uncontested dragon, I believe, unless Zedia can get the steal. Dragon's in such an awkward position. He's going to have to flash forward right now. Oh, he's in range. He gets it. He picks up the Infernal Dragon. Oh, crazy. Yeah, that's going to be really nice for Alphalol. It's going to give them a little bit more power and allow them to outscale a little bit faster than they normally would, so they're going to be very pleased with that. But Melsar flash ulting forward. Vanguard's going low. He's has the dot on him and goes down. So another kill going over to Google East, and both summoners from Vanguard being used.
This might be first tower here.
Yeah, I think so. 4 members hitting it. Yellow Emperor's going to do his best, but sometimes your best is not enough when you are Braum trying to 1v4 in the mid lane. And that's going to be first tower.
Just a note on that dragon from before. I think it's the real problem with it is that they didn't have a pink ward for that fight. So Zetia knew the exact timing to jump in for that steal.
Right, yeah. There was the vision denial was not really on point there. Rakan didn't even have a sweeping lens yet. Still has his tier 1 support item. So no real possibility for him to switch to sweeping lens after getting the Sightstone component. So yeah, just not a lot of vision there. They are still going to cement their gold lead, and because Zedia and Vanguard both go down and the events after the Dragon Steal, Google East is content to sort of just trade it back. They give it this dragon, which is unfortunate, but they get first tower gold. That's really what they're they're here for at this point. It's going to let them snowball because they need to win right now. And a kill goes down top lane. I wasn't even paying attention. Looks like Mundo just got crowd controlled. Skarner using the ultimate.
Alright, so what do you think's next?
Well, it's going to be top tower right now for Google East. They're going to take this one. Look to snowball. I'm surprised they haven't been looking to play for the bottom tower instead, but since Singed is so strong, I think this also makes sense. They're going to free up Singed. He's going to have the long lane. He'll have teleport, so it should be easy for them to break bottom lane shortly.
Well, Rift Herald's also up as well. Dragon's down.
Oh,
so
that's true, yeah. Yeah, this Rift Herald's actually really critical. If Google East
Yeah,
gets this one, they can just blow the game open. There's no way that Alphalol can really contest a siege at this point. They don't have enough wave clear on their Xerath yet.
Right, and with that mid tower going down early, that's super bad for Xerath. He doesn't have any summoners up. They have very limited vision in their jungle. Like, it's extremely difficult for him to move around the map right now because there's 3 people or 4 people. In fact, I think the entire red team is going to kill Xerath if they find him in the jungle.
Yeah, the lack of vision control is going to be really an issue here. No tower there to give him presence and vision. We see that Alphalol is doing a really nice job of warding around mid lane for Vanguard to keep him safe, but
it's a really nice job for them.
Yeah. Well, Rift Herald getting started up. No, never mind. I lied. Is not being started up, is already taken. And Hypebot claims that and goes home. I was really intently watching bot lane trades, so I actually missed that.
I'll point these things out to you.
Yeah, thanks, appreciate it. I'm the best observer. You guys got to watch Braum walk around in bot lane for a little bit. So, guess bot lane tower is going to be the next real objective for Google East. Skarner's already down here routing for it. Malzhar's freed up, has his ultimate Nether Grasp available, and they're just going to look to 4-man this one, I think. Zedia looking to match, both teleports available in the top lane. And Zedia, oh, they find Yarius, but doesn't look like they can commit. We're going to see this awkward 4v4 in bot lane.
Here's an interesting piece of itemization. If you look at the Malzahar, he's purchased a Shirelio's first item.
Oh, that's a really interesting choice. Yeah, I'm not sure if it makes sense to forego the mana, but I really like the idea of Shirelio's active, especially since he's so far ahead.
Oh, top lane, top lane. We might have a kill here.
Oh, he's going down. Yeah, Mundo is really having a rough time against this Singed. Singed just picking up so many of those early kills. Yeah.
The fact that he's hanging even close to even is quite impressive.
Yeah.
Partly a comment on the fact that Mundo is quite strong on this patch.
Yeah. Yeah, so right now Google East is up around 7,000 gold. That's probably enough for them to snowball into a win, but they need to be careful that they don't drop the ball here. If they lose a fight, that's going to be a lot of shutdown gold going over to Alphalol. That can be what they need to turn the game around. So Google East needs to maintain their focus, play a really tight game here, because it's still very possible for them to lose.
Yeah. Something I'd like to see out of Google East here, actually, is like, I don't see many pink wards on the map from them. What I'd really like to see them is to move a pink ward line into the blue side jungle right now and start denying that vision and forcing difficult rotations. Alright, have a fight here in bot lane.
Yeah, we see a little bit of a dive here. Azusa going down right away to the Skarner ultimate, and Yellow Emperor tries to get his concussive blows off, but there's just not enough people there to trigger the mark, and that's just going to be the fight. Prashanth going down. It's not really anyone to help him out here. Mundo just teleports, but he doesn't have a ton of presence here on the teleport. He's not strong enough to really flank or dive. And it means that Singed is just going to keep pushing top lane while Mundo tries to salvage this bottom lane and hold the tower for a little bit longer.
So Rift Herald's got about 60 seconds left on it now. So they're going to have to pick somewhere to use it. They've also got a Drake coming up shortly. This one's an Ocean in 10 seconds.
Yeah, a little disappointed with East's Rift Herald usage here. I think they really could have committed for a bottom lane Herald push. Oh, but they find Zedia Malzhar going down. Kai'Sa auto-attacking, and Zedia just gets popped there. There's nothing he can do to get out of that one.
CC wins games.
Yeah. It's pretty good. Ocean Dragon going to be picked up by Hypebot, and East is going to be relatively pleased with that. It's not the best dragon for them at this point in the game, since no one's
Yeah.
really regenerating. It's more people getting 100 to 0 through crowd control. But it's a dragon nonetheless. It'll make their Elder stronger if they can pick that one up later. This banner minion in mid lane being really obnoxious for Vanguard to deal with. They're looking for the kill on Gelzilla. Ignite going down from Yellow Emperor, and there's 3 people here, but oh man! Oh, he nearly gets out, but the Ignite finishes off from Yellow Emperor. But meanwhile, in the bottom lane, Herald's looking to charge in.
And this is new and improved Rift Herald. So, doing that full 1500 damage on every charge.
Yeah. Interestingly, East just backs off. They don't commit to that Herald Siege. I really would have liked them to see them push their advantage a little further, but I guess they didn't have ultimate cooldowns available. Nethergrass wasn't up, and Impale was not up either, I believe.
Yeah, also down a man, it would have been a 4v5.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. It would have been maybe a little bit greedy, but they're up so much gold that I really feel like they still could have taken that fight, despite being down Gelzilla.
Alright, so the next objective up is Baron for them. So it's a question. I'd like to see them do something in the next, 4.5 minutes. I'd really like to see them sort of start really contesting that vision. So Blue has all of this vision on all of the entrances to their jungles. I'd like to see Red make a concerted effort to go in there and like remove that vision, put them in the dark, and maybe get a pick off of that. So
yeah, I think that's really one of the strengths of Alphalol right now is their vision. Defensive vision has been really great.
it's been really on point.
It's not super reflected in the vision score right now, just because the vision score system rewards defensive wards a little bit less than division, but it's really what's keeping them in the game. The fact that they're warding so smart defensively is allowing them to get rotations that really shouldn't, that Google East should not be allowing. And if they get enough time, they can definitely ramp up to the point where they can start to contest Baron. So the really critical moment is in these next 3 minutes, 3.5 minutes. If Alphalol can win a fight, they're going to actually be in a position where they can contest Baron, but they need to make something happen right now. Speaking of which, Zedia, looking to get a kill on Xarius, needs to auto-attack to trigger the concussable. Xerath's ultimate going down. Yellow Emperor has his Ignite, but Nethergrass just finishes Zedia. There's no way he can get the return kill. Yellow Emperor is just here alone. Vanguard flashing forward to try and get the return kill, but he doesn't get it. Hypebot flanking him from the back. Vanguard trapped in the corner, and he goes down, while Mezuzah gets finished off by Gelzilla. And speaking of winning a fight, that is the opposite of what Alphalol ends up doing here. They lose 4 members looking for that desperate pick. They're just not able to get it. The Malzahar ult is just so powerful against the Alphalol engage.
Yeah, I'm not sure I entirely agree with that play from Blue Team. Like, they've just consolidated all this beautiful defensive vision. They're scaling up, the gold leads remaining static, and then they extend past that defensive vision line to try and get an aggressive pick against, a support, and get punished for it.
Yeah, a little bit of a desperate play there. You can tell that they're feeling a little bit of panic there. They want to try and make something happen, but this is just not the right time for it. They need to play a little bit of a slower game, be patient, and just play for their power spikes here. I think, honestly, they always have to be afraid of getting dived, but they don't actually have a wave clear deficit. Oh, hold that thought. A fight's breaking out. They try to go on Kaiser, but Kaiser's cutting backward. Malzahar is safe in the backline, but Mundo's walking forward, getting so much damage here. He's not dying. There's so many low members from East. Mundo picks up 1. He picks up 2. He picks up 3 kills, I believe. He's chasing Malzahar ult. No, Singe is still alive. Triple kill. Oh, is this a Quadra? It's the Quadra. Can he get the Penta? Malzahar's running out to safety, but Xerath ult is trying to pin him down. Mundo's not done yet. Forces the Malzahar flash. Mundo's ready, and it's not going to be the Mundo pentakill quite yet, but this is a huge turning point for Alphalol.
Absolutely, and that's that Mundo that they first picked and put so much priority on, paying dividends.
Yeah, finally looking to scale up, and this is speaking to the compositional fragility of Google East. If we take a look at their team composition, their team does so much magic damage. Kaiser does a lot of mixed damage. Malzahar's all magic damage. Singe is all magic damage. So if Mundo can get 2 or 3 magic resist items, he will never die. And that's going to be a really big problem for Google East if it gets to that point, because they can't afford to use their crowd control tools on Mundo. If they need to keep their teammates alive by ulting Mundo, they've basically lost the fight already. So this is a moment for Alpha to turn this around.
It's also interesting. I mean, so Kaiser has several builds that she can opt for. Some more AD heavy, some more AP heavy. Now this is one of the more AP heavy builds, with the fast Rage Blade into Runans. It focuses a lot on her passive and the on-hit magic damage that you get from Rage Blade.
Right, for sure.
You know, contrasted with some of the other builds you can go, such as a like a standard, more standard crit build. So
Yeah. I'm normally a big proponent of the Death Stance, Rage Blade, and Nashor's Tooth, but I think it would have been very inappropriate for this game where they need a physical damage source. Part of why I was surprised at seeing this Kaisa compositionally, it was prioritized so heavily, and it's been doing well, but I haven't seen anything super special coming out of it. I think it would have been really great if, imagine if this Kaisa was a Xayah. It's a lot harder for Alphalol to re-engage. Oh, Yellow Emperor pranks Mezuzah a little bit there, blast coning him backward as he goes to clear wards. And it looks like Google East is just starting up Baron. There's no vision here, and I don't think there's anything. Yeah, this is a really great play.
Fantastic play. And just really a bit sloppy from blue team. You know, sending 4 people to clear wards on the bot side of the map with Baron up. Yeah,
they actually cannot contest this. They should try to do Dragon so they can at least trade something back, but I don't even know if they have an idea of this happening. Mezuzah's just farming in mid lane, and only now they're starting Dragon. It's a little too late. Google East is going to be here to contest. This is going to be pretty ugly. They get the Dragon, and they manage to just walk out to safety. I'm honestly impressed that East didn't try to just force the issue there. I guess they're sitting on gold and we're worried. They just want to keep all their members alive with Baron, and they're just going to siege and break open the base safely.
Yeah, I feel like it's going to be difficult for them to siege though.
Yeah.
Even with Baron, their comp really does rely heavily on picks and diving.
Yeah, they're really going to have to commit for the dive. Baron will just help them escort the minion wave into the tower, and after that they're going to have to try and use Skarner Flash Ult or Malzahar Flash Ult. None of these are quite available yet, but Rakan still has crowd control, Sin can ghost in, so it's going to be really tight play. Alphalol can still definitely outplay this one on the dive. They have a lot of crowd control, they have a lot of ways to kite back, they have Mundo to buffer for them, so we'll see if Alphalol can pull it off. Right.
I really want to see them play this one defensively. Like, they don't need to take a fight. They lose a fight right now, they lose their game. So.
Right, for sure.
I want them to make the red team force the issue under a tower.
Yeah, it makes sense. I think one thing that's really unfortunate here for Alphalol is that they're just so close to hitting these critical item breakpoints. They're barely shy of Hurricane completion from Mezuzah. They're barely shy of Trinity Force from Zedia. And those would have been really nice items to have for this dive, but they're going to have to fight without them just because of this gold deficit. They're just clearing these minion waves and trying to see how much time they can give themselves. I think eventually they're going to have to give up this bottom inhibitor, but it should take the majority of the Baron buff if they play this one right.
I don't even know if they are going to have to give it up. They couldn't even defend, Red Team couldn't even defend that banner cannon minion there.
Oh yeah, that's true. I'm actually surprised how passively the Google East is playing this one. I feel like they can afford to be more proactive. They have Malzahar ult available, they have Malzahar Flash, they have Skarner Flash ultimate pretty soon, but they're just content to just allow these mini waves to shove in and slowly get chip damage on the tower. Meanwhile, Singe and Mundo are scrapping in mid lane, so we'll have to see how that exchange goes. Singe applying Baron buff to the minion wave makes it pretty difficult for... oh, here the fight's breaking out. Rakan going in with his ultimate ability, but Malzahar is locking down Zedia. Kaisa picks up 1 kill, but Mundo's here. Can he pull off his quadra that he got last fight? Xerath is still fighting, but Mezuzah's already dead, so there's no marksman backline threat available. And it looks like Alphalol is going to try and disengage this, but Google East flashing forward to set up this kill, and there's just going to be a 5-for-0 ace, and I think this is going to be the game.
Really nice play there from Hypebot with the flash Skarner ult on the Cogmore.
Yep, that was really nice. Eliminate that one threat that Alphalol needs to win the game, and they're just going to seal this one out. So really just making us eat our own words. Getting a decisive game victory in Game 1 off of a really great level 1 exchange. They go 4-for-0. And
impressed.
Yeah, they snowball it.
Well played.
Yeah, I think Google East definitely played well. I think a lot of this game was Alphalol sort of tripping over their own feet. That level 1 was a little unfortunate to say the least. I don't think it was necessarily an unfavorable level 1 either, just off of the compositions, but I agree with your assessment that because they scale so well, it's a little bit odd that they're willing to take that risk. I get the idea that you can convert a kill off the Broncussive Lows, but it's just really unfortunate that Google East was ready. They had their defensive death stack prepared in the bush, and Rakan just gets a great knockup. It looks like they've been expecting the level 1.
Yeah, I think that might be a case of good scouting there.
Yeah, for sure. I do want to see Google East step up their control ward purchases, because Malzahar, Kai'Sa, and Singed all bought 0 control wards that game, which is...
I was about to mention that. There were large periods of that game where the blue team almost managed to get back into the game by, just as you mentioned, by their good vision control. You know, they had 2 pink wards guarding Van's mid lane the entire game. All of their entrances were pink. So shout out to them for great vision control and, you know, almost using that to bring themselves back into the game. I think to me, I would have liked to have seen blue team play a little bit more around their win conditions there. I mean, the win condition was essentially to scale, right? So
Right.
Throwing the dice early on, I think, is just a little unnecessary to me.
Yeah, let's see. I wonder how this game 1 is going to affect the draft for game 2. We saw this Mundo coming in really big. Didn't end up panning out, but I think it's still a really strong champion. I'd be surprised if it doesn't get contested once again.
I wouldn't be surprised to see it banned this time. I mean, it was holding strong in a lane where it was down, where the Mundo was 0-3 and the Singed was 6-0-4.
Yeah.
And despite being 0-3, pulled off a quadra and, you know, that one of those key fights. So I wouldn't be surprised if that banned.
Yeah, taking off some big power picks. Do you think we're going to see the same kind of bot lane focus with the marksman bans again, or do you think that was a game 1 anomaly?
I'm not sure. I'm actually a little surprised by that focus to begin with. What's your take on it?
My guess is that it has to do with Tessier. I hope I'm saying that right. I apologize. I think it's the focus on Tessier because he is Diamond 2, pretty significantly the highest ranked member of his team. In fact, higher ranked than any of the Alphalol members. So I assume that because he's sort of like the team captain, he's the superstar player of his roster, that he's getting target banned, and the Tessier is in response banning some of Mizuza's champion pool to sort of equalize that. So I think that's why the focus on bot lane happened in game 1. I expect to see that continue, but I could be thrown for a loop as well, depending on how Google East chooses to use their blue side first pick advantage.
Fair enough.
Oh, we do see a roster swap. Window Breaker is actually going to be subbed in, I believe. Oh, no, wait. Yes? Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so how do you feel about the bans coming in from the blue team now?
As is being discussed in the chat, they no longer have to ban Vel'Koz. It looks like that was a target ban. I guess I don't think either team. If anything, I still actually really liked Alphalol Zero's draft. I think they had the stronger game 1 draft, and there were just some unfortunate circumstances that prevented it from panning out. They weren't able to play toward their win condition. I wonder if Google East is willing to contest them with a standard front-to-back team fight, or if they're depending on their ability to sort of cheese games with their crowd control pick composition that they played very well last game. So it'll be interesting to see if they have enough depth to play other kinds of styles, especially after swapping out their mid laner. It's a little bit unusual.
I wouldn't be surprised to see a Malzahar or a Skarner ban. I thought that, you know, that instant hard CC was pivotal to them winning that game.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It made so much sense with their draft and the way the teams played together. So yeah, I agree. Taking Malzahar off the table is super critical.
Yep. I wouldn't be surprised to see both of those banned. I thought that you know, they've shown that they can play a pick-based, you know, comp based on like a lot of really good hard crowd control very well. And I'd like to take I'd like to see them take that away and say, okay, you've shown us this type of comp. Can you show us another? Can you beat us in a different way?
Right, for sure. And I think at that point, you just give up on trying to ban out Tessier. Just give him whatever marksman he wants, and then try to beat the rest of the roster.
I agree. I feel like typically marksman bans don't have as much impact in terms of how teams play out as some of the other bans can.
Right. Yeah, marksmen all sort of do the same thing. They do it in different ways, but their goal is just deal damage. So you don't really change your draft around it. You just sort of stick whatever marksman works the best with the rest of your game plan. Oh, yeah. Apparently they're not a fan of our ignore the 80 carry ban strategy, and 80 carry bans it is.
All right. So if our bans are identical, yeah, still the same.
Huh.
Okay, well, so this is fair enough from
talent.
Google East. Interesting. So this is a targeted window breaker.
Yeah, I see. So the Vel'Koz is target ban last game, so they're just swapping that Vel'Koz ban for a talent ban.
This makes sense as well. This is another champion who can, snowball a game, go around the map, get a lot of picks.
Yeah.
Alright, so Google East, same 3 bans, I believe.
Yeah, looks like it.
All of
actually, I believe they banned Twisted Fate in Phase 2. They had a different Phase 1 ban. But definitely emphasizing that global pressure. They don't want Vanguard coming down to mess with Tessier, I believe. It's going to be a Trundle first pick, I believe. I dislike this a lot because Mundo is still open. Don't know if Google East plays it, but
could be support of Trundle.
It's fair, that's fair. There's definitely the Trundle flex. It could be jungle, it could be top lane, but all the same, I think just allowing Mundo to be left open on this patch is a critical mistake, and I'd be surprised if Alphalol doesn't just snap that one right up right here.
Using the full clock. Oh, interesting. Do you think this will be the double tier Israel?
Oh, could see it.
Kindred. That's unexpected.
Yeah, a little odd. Wow, I'm surprised that Mundo doesn't get picked up here. I was really impressed with it last game, and it was sort of the saving grace for Alphalol, but they decided that they're not going to prioritize it as heavily.
So
getting an update from Twitch chat that Trundle was banned last game first round, so it looks like this is a specialty pick from Google East that Alphalol is aware of.
We're going right back to that Kai'Sa.
Yep, Kai'Sa getting picked up once again. 0 priority being placed on Zyra Khan, which is interesting to me.
Kai'Sa is a great champion into Israel. He Arcane shifts away and you just hold after him.
Right. Very good choice. Fizz getting picked up for this is I'm trying to figure out who's mid lane.
I think it'll be Windowbreaker mid lane.
Okay, Windowbreaker's mid, so it'll be his Fizz and Jilzilla's Trundle.
That would be my suspicion. I think it's Trundle top for Jilzilla.
Alright, makes sense.
Morgana.
Interesting. So this Morgana could be a flex pick as well, but I expect to see Yellow Emperor play it because I don't believe that Vanguard is a Morgana mid pilot. It could be a counterpick to Fizz though.
I don't think Van plays it.
Yeah.
I could be wrong. So it looks to me here, so Google East looks like they're setting up for another sort of all-in comp. And interestingly, it looks like Alphalol 0 is setting up with a siege comp.
Yeah.
More
The
of a
very
siege.
kiting, pick-based.
Yeah, lots of good tools to disengage and survive.
Yeah.
Certainly, Kindred could be very strong against the Fizz. Just completely denying that burst potential.
Right, for sure. Do you think that we're going to see the Mundo ban here? We see the Malphite ban. I'd be really surprised if Mundo just makes it all the way through to the last phase of the draft again.
I wonder. Trundle is good into Mundo. He can sap all of his stats.
Yeah, that's fair. I think just although Trundle is a good pick into Mundo, I think just given the current patch, Mundo's so overtuned that I think you can just straight up duel Mundo. But it looks like it's going to be the Mundo ban, so taking that one off the table.
Yeah. I agree with this. I think you're right. It's a strong pick. It's a good choice to deny it. it performed well even when immensely behind. So it's
Right.
scary to think what it could do when ahead.
Yeah, Mundo also makes a lot of sense with the siege composition. He's a frontliner who offers range presence. He can eat those fizz ults for his team.
I'm wrong. That's a counterpick mid.
Oh wow. I mean, actually, it could go. I guess it could go either way. It could also be a Lulu mid to counterpick the fizz.
Yeah, I mean you're right, but
Yeah, I think it'll be
my
Lulu
money would be on
support.
Morgana.
I like that a lot here, actually. Makes a lot of sense compositionally, and Morgana ult's actually super powerful with Kindred
They
Ultimate.
need a tank though.
Oh yeah, for sure.
They need a tank.
Yeah,
Someone has to eat that result.
it's probably gonna be Elite Neat. Gonna stick him on some kind of frontliner, but I don't know exactly what frontliner is available for him.
What
His
does he
champion
play? What does
pools.
he play?
His champion pool's gotten pinched a lot. He's a big Malphite player, I believe, and Mundo getting banned out. That was sort of his
Yeah,
backup pick.
scanning his profile right now.
Ooh, Maokai, the other tank. Swain. Oh, interesting. So it looks like some. Yeah, I think so.
They need to.
It's so good compositionally for them here. Like, it's unfortunate that you have to pick the Maokai into the... Oh, it's actually Trundle Jungle and Orn top. So yeah, you're totally fine playing Maokai. But the Swain gets hovered instead. I really want to see the Maokai. I agree with you, Carlton.
They need the tankiness. Swain is...
Oh, some intense deliberation, but the Swain gets locked in.
This is like the exact opposite of last time. This time the fragile comp is on the Google that's Alphalol 0.
Yep.
So, their win condition is so tight here.
Yeah, I do like how the draft for Google Alphalol plays around the Kindred ult really well. Swain works really well with Kindred ult. Morgana ult works really well with Kindred Ultimate. Lulu ult even works pretty well with Kindred Ultimate. One thing I do dislike is the Ezreal Lulu. I think Ezreal Lulu is a little bit anti-synergistic because Lulu really works a lot better with big hyper carries. But I guess actually I take that back. You can put the Lulu steroids on Kindred in this case.
Yeah, and Ezreal is actually very strong on this patch. The double tier build pumps out a lot of damage.
Yeah.
But I'll be honest. I really like Google East's draft here. They have fantastic initiate. A big tanky frontline, good CC. I think it's very strong.
Yeah. And once they get ahead, they can just keep on diving. One thing I'm concerned with is if they do get behind, they have very few ways of interacting with the siege, so they need to make sure that they're able to engage and they play their engages smart with their ultimate cooldowns.
Yeah, I mean, like Orn ult into Braum ult into Pillar is very strong.
Yeah, that's true.
And there's a lot of immobile champions on the Google All Zero team. What's it? Sorry, just what is the name for that team? I'm massacring it here.
Oh, it's Alphalol 0 is their full name.
Okay, thank you.
Honestly, we could just call them Google West because I think most of them or all of them are West Coast. Gotcha. And then we can tell our East Coast, West Coast narrative.
Right, so since level 1 played such a pivotal role in the previous game, how do you feel about the level 1 here?
Well, let's see. We have Braum, which is always a scary level 1 champion. There's potential for Trundle Pillar or even Orn Pillar going down too to set up the full enclosure. But
on the other side, you've got Lulu, Morgana, Ezreal, all of them very
and
strong.
Swain too. You can just get that tug off of the Morgana bind.
I give level 1 priority strongly to Alphalol.
Yeah, I think so. I agree with you on that one.
So, I be hesitant to 5-stack in a defensive fight this time if I was Google East.
Completely tangential, but Alphalol has 5 ranged auto attackers on their team. They have not a single melee champion.
And conversely, we have 4 melee champions.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, it's range versus melee, the game. Kaisa's on the shorter range spectrum for marksman as well.
Yep. I think the other thing for me here, I feel like that Alphalol is much better in skirmishes. That they have good disengage, good pick potential. But conversely, I think in a pitched team fight, I give the advantage over to Google East.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's going to be really critical is that because Alphalol has these 5 range champions, they have some really strong laning phases. Morgana should crush Fizz in the pre-6, just shove him to tower, ensure that he never has lane priority, and similarly Swain should be able to bully Ornn out in the early phase of the game. So we're going to have to see how that affects the jungle matchup, because if Kindred can have 3 winning lanes and invade and just suppress Trundle, they can set up just a crazy snowball off of those early game skirmishes like you mentioned that just gives Alphalol a brutal early game advantage.
No, I agree. I think that's absolutely should be the strategy. I'd like to see, Kindred going, Morgana pushing and invading with Kindred, trying to establish that deep vision towards the Trundle and try and pick him off in the jungle.
Yeah, I really liked the Google East draft initially, but more and more, I'm actually okay with the Alphalol draft as well. I think the Maokai pick would have been ideal, but overall, it's a respectable team composition.
I agree. Again, I think the win condition is narrow. They need to make plays early. They need to, get ahead and, get that vision down. But we'll see. They certainly have, solid win conditions, so...
And one thing I want to call attention to is that Mizusa has actually packed teleport this game. Quite interesting.
Yeah, so this is from MSI.
Yeah, as seen on MSI.
Yeah, as seen on
Brought
MSI.
to you by Prey. They did win the game where they took it, so that's something.
Yep. As in, random aside, I have seen a lot of imitators, in solo queue last week or so, trying to pull out, strats, and then, it perhaps not going so well for them. So.
Yeah. Do you have any thoughts on that? Do you think it's a good strat, or do you think it's sort of a flash in the pan, experimental thing?
To me, it's situational. I think that you can't really make a judgment call on that in a vacuum.
Uh-oh, Elite Need getting a little caught out here. Braum missing his Winter's Bite, so Elite Need flashes out of that one. It's going to be a free flash pickup from Google East. A little bit sloppy from Alphalol there. Looks like they're just going to leave. So in exchange, looks like Alphalol picks up vision control at the red buff, so they're going to have a pretty good idea of where Hypebot ends up starting. I believe Hypebot... oh yeah, go ahead.
Same goes both ways though. I mean, Google East got that ward down on the red buff. I thought that was a really smart play as well. Like they knew they didn't want to have that fight level 1 this time, and so they invaded in the direction where they, didn't expect the red team to be. They still managed to get vision about where Zetia was starting, which is crucial because he has that jungle priority.
Yeah. Yeah, getting Hypebot to start on the bottom side means he's going to be able to clear up to our top side and pressure this now flashless Swain. So it's going to be pretty critical. We're going to have to keep an eye on our top lane here, whether or not Zetia will be able to defend Elite Need. And it's a 2v2, I believe, that favors Swain Kindred early on. So if Kindred is on his game and Zetia is there to match Hypebot, it can turn pretty favorable for Alphalol.
Yeah, agreed. I think, honestly, it's very tough for Hypebot to get a good gank this game. Like, none of his lanes are particularly good for him to gank.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, ganking Morgana is clearly very difficult. With
Right,
shield.
right.
Ganking a Lulu Ezreal is equally miserable.
Yep. So it's going to have to be top lane, but it needs to happen before level 6. If Swain has ultimate, there's actually not a lot of burst damage from Ornn Trundle, so if Swain can end up heal tanking it, that becomes very ugly very fast, and Elite Neat just laying down the pain with those auto attacks, slapping Gelzilla, is going to be able to set up a really nice freeze that will make it hard for a Hypebot to do anything topside. And we're going to see some counter jungling going on, I believe, as Kindred looks to pick up their mark in the bottom side, whereas Trundle perhaps looking to flank mid lane. Oh, Morgana binding used, and Trundle's here with the pillar. Black Shield goes down, but Windowbreaker's low. Zedia's here to counter gank, and First Blood going down to Kindred. Hypebot's trapped, he gets minion blocked and has to flash over, and this is the brutal counter gank that we mentioned earlier. Zedia just smashes Hypebot in these early duels, and unfortunately for them, it's going to be First Blood going over to Zedia, who can now snowball and carry in the mid to late game with those Lulu steroids.
Yeah, and I think that was once again just, you know, again, a reflection of the lane priority as well. You know, Morgana was full health and Fizz was almost dead when that gank started.
Yeah, yeah. It's a little bit of a iffy play to begin with, and
Yeah,
just
agreed.
doesn't end up working out.
Yep.
Zedia trying to take away some Raptors, but Hypebot is here looking to contest. Um,
I just feel, you know, I feel once
oh,
again, it's, you know, we know that the win condition. Oh, Zedia
Braum
getting killed
flashing
here.
forward. Zedia flashes, but Windowbreaker
Nice
flashes
flash.
his E, and that's double buffs going over. Oh, just red buff going over to Windowbreaker. That's a little bit sloppy, a really greedy overextension by Zedia. He already got that first blood kill. He can just go back to his jungle and farm back, but he tries to take Raptor, despite his mid laner being down on the recall. And
Yeah,
that
agreed.
nice roam from Urius.
Agreed. Nice place from Windowbreaker as well with that E flash.
Yeah, yeah. For sure. It does mean that Tesche pays for that with a little bit of his farm because he got denied a little bit off of the Urius roam. A good play from Braum nonetheless, but it's not going to be free. It comes at a bit of a cost to the Kai'Sa scaling.
Yep. So Ornn's, interestingly, Ornn's actually ahead in CS here. If you notice, it looks like Elite Neat's been staying up there with no mana for a while, sort of just unable to put any pressure on the Ornn.
Yeah, it looks like it. He's going to recall and look to teleport back to lane with some of those mana items, Ruby Crystal, Sapphire Crystal. In fact, the same components that Ornn has, interestingly enough. So both of them going for that Catalyst item.
Oh, except Ornn has the catalyst because he's Ornn.
Yeah. Fun champion.
Yeah.
Elite Neat continuing to... Oh, he actually ends up breaking his freeze, looking to rotate because Zedia is in a scrap. He is fighting with Ornn here in the river. Vanguard's rotating up, but Zedia's flashless. He's a little bit trapped here. Vanguard giving the Black Shield. Zedia gets over the wall with his Q. Elite Neat in a little bit of trouble, though. He's trying to get some damage on the return, but Gelzilla's still really healthy. Hypebot gets out of there. Vanguard gets the bind onto Ornn. Gelzilla dashes out. And after all that, there's some really low health bars and no one dies. Vanguard still has flash though. He might go for this. He flashes forward, just trades flashes with Gelzilla. Oh, he gets the binding! Oh, where's the follow-up though? Zedia's not quite in range. They need a couple more auto attacks. Oh, Gelzilla dashes into the wall!
Into the wall!
That's so unfortunate.
Unlucky.
But he does get cornered out. I'm not sure if he had time to walk around that little ledge to escape. He would have gone into auto attack range. And Zedia, although he died early on, still had a pretty great start. Has 2 of his team's kills and is going to be able to farm and collect those kindred marks. Gelzilla has to teleport back to lane, so that will equalize teleport advantage for now.
I feel like they actually got a little bit lucky there. So, I mean, I completely agree with, you know, invading it, like Zedia invading and putting pressure down, but I would have liked to have seen him do it, you know, with the support of his team.
Right, right.
What's been happening at the moment is he's sort of solo invading while his lanes are pushed in, and then getting collapsed on.
Yeah.
It worked out. Like, they turned it nice.
Yeah. Yeah, Vanguard was just free to collapse, and Windowbreaker was not. And the 3v2 ends up working out for them, but I agree, there's just a little bit of a miscommunication about who has lane priority and when. And if there's better communication on who's pushing, whether or not Elite Neat is freezing or shoving, I think that'll be a lot better for the kinds of plays that Zedia is trying to force.
Yeah, agreed.
Oh, nice bind from Vanguard, but Hypebot is here. Black Shield goes down. The Fizz ultimate gets whiff. Vanguard ults to try and live, but the burst damage is too much. Vanguard goes down to the Fizz. Then going back to a little bit of a state of normalcy. Everyone's farming. We still have Mizuzo with a CS lead here, in part because of the teleport and in part because of the earlier Braum roam. So if they can maintain that tempo lead with Ezreal, it's going to be really good for their siege. If they can keep Kai'Sa weak, that's really great for them. Blue getting past to Windowbreaker here. He picks it up. Gonna recall. Has teleport coming up shortly.
I feel like this game is starting to just favour Google East at the moment. Like, the gold's pretty much even, you know, no objectives have been taken.
Yeah.
You know, I feel like, you know, Alphalol, they really need to make something happen.
Yeah,
What do you
make
think?
something happen. They're gonna try and do Dragon, which is good for them. It makes sense with their composition. But yeah, I agree. They need to get further ahead than they did. They have these winning lanes, but they're just not really utilizing them properly, as I see it. And if they give East too much time, they're going to have to play against the Ornn ultimate and the Ornn engagement. That's going to be much uglier for them.
Yeah, agreed.
So
closer to close to the point where they're going to be forced to team fight, and they really haven't managed to eke out much of an advantage yet.
Yeah.
Separated by only 100 gold.
Do want to turn attention to the vision control though, and as we saw, the weakness of East last game was even though they were ahead, their vision control was surprisingly lacking. They had members who didn't purchase a single control ward that game, 3 of them in fact, and whereas we see 4 control wards already out on the map for Alphalol.
Absolutely.
Flashing from Urias, they're going to look for the kill here. Mezuzah has to flash out. Teshe ulting it in, and Ezreal gets stunned. But look, we have teleports going down, and I think this is just going to be the end of the fight. Alphalol doesn't really have tools to force this, in part because of the lack of tank. Lead is here, and Zedia moving into vision, starts auto-attacking, and Gelzilla looks like he's trapped. I don't think he can get out of this one. He just goes down, and Zedia picking up another kill. Windowbreaker's going to rotate toward topside to try and deny a tower take here, but Vanguard going to shove out mid. No, looking to rotate top with his team and follow the Fizz.
Kindred has ult here. I don't think this is going to work.
Yeah, he's going to go for it. Misses ult. Lead Neat cracks his own ultimate, but nothing really happens. He just pushes Windowbreaker off. Going down. I completely missed that. It's so close. Ezreal wants to get a return kill here, but he's out of mana. Is not able to pick that one up. Oh, so sad. Real heartbreaker right there. It ends up being a lot of summer spells used, but Yellow Emperor goes down. There's no kill trade.
So I think that Google East made a really nice job there of sort of forcing a fight in the Ezreal's weak point when he's just got a naked tier.
Yeah, naked tier, no mana, so Mezuzah's just incredibly weak.
Yeah, Braum landed a Q, and then Kaiser just flashed in to follow it.
Yep.
Really nice play.
So we see Elite Neat finally getting a bit of a CS advantage. Has teleport available, so both top laners are going to have teleport pretty soon. Mezuzah, despite losing a support there, is going to be about even in gold, if not slightly ahead, just off of the big CS advantage he's had. Yeah, looking in position, but he's going to get face-checked by Trundle, I believe. There's going to be a little battle over the control wards here. Windowbreaker potentially looking to ultimate, but Lulu has her ultimate available. Yellow Emperor not going to let that happen. Black Shield goes down from Vanguard, and it's going to be fine for them.
This Google East is listening to you. I've got count 4 control wards out on the map.
It's definite enough. I'm glad. Yeah.
There we go.
So Mezuzah sort of just gets soloed there off of the roam from Lulu. Ezreal's just not a great duelist at this point in the game, especially compared to Kai'Sa, who's a lot like Vayne in that regard, has a lot of single target damage from her passive.
This is, I think, also going back to what I was mentioning earlier. Kai'Sa's a fantastic counter to Ezreal. Against just about any other ADC as Ezreal, you can just E away and then throw Qs in their face. With Kai'Sa, as soon as she tags you, if you E, she can just follow you.
Right. Elite Neat teleporting into the bottom lane, looking to fight here, cracks his ultimate, but his team is a little bit too far to follow. Teshe getting slowed down, but Windowbreaker throws his ultimate. It connects onto Yellow Emperor. His ult is not available. Kindred ult is a little slow, so they're not able to save him. And teleport coming out from Gelzilla. Elite Neat trying to kite back her, but Zedia goes down. Mezuzah's here, but there's just not a lot that Alphalol can do.
This is looking really bad for Alphalol at the moment.
Yeah.
I mean, the gold is still pretty close, but...
Yeah, they just need to come online faster. If they're even gold, I think they're behind compositionally, like we've mentioned before.
It's a really big Kai'Sa. Ezreal's going to have a lot of trouble against that in lane.
Yeah. I think the one saving grace that Alphalol has going for them is that they have a really strong Kindred right now, and they have a double support. They have Morgana, Lulu, so if they can get double shields onto Zedia and just have Zedia 1v5, that is one potential win condition for them. The Google East doesn't have a great way of interacting with the Kindred ultimate, and negates a lot of their good engaged cooldowns. So we'll see if Alphalol is able to play around their Kindred.
Yeah.
A little bit of scrap here. Vanguard binds Windowbreaker, and ZD here is getting so much damage from Windowbreaker, forced to flash away from that Morgana ultimate. Blast plants out. Meantime, a little bit of a trade going down bottom, as looks like Windowbreaker is able to get out of that one. Has teleport available, so it can teleport back to lane if need be.
Windowbreaker's also doing very well here. Like, that's not a fun lane for the Fizz. But he's, you know, even in CS and up in kills, so...
Yeah. Those early roams from Vanguard to punish the Fizz not coming out as... Oh, Zedia hitting Hypebot. There can potentially dive here. Queuing forward, picks up Hypebot, who's trying to hold mid tower. A little bit sloppy on his part. Cannot hold that 2v1 against these champions. Fizz ultimate going down onto Zedia. Zedia doesn't have ult available and just gets one shot by Windowbreaker. So just trades going down on both sides. Oh, a little bit of an aggressive step from Braum. As Elite Neat trades against Jillzilla.
That Abyssal Mask though, negating a lot of the damage.
Yeah, sort of a lot of relevant MRO. He gets chunked out though. Elite Neat getting a ton of damage down, but he's gonna have to spend a lot of mana for it. Gonna be able to deny Jillzilla a wave here as he crashes, which is gonna be really nice for him. He's gonna get mid tower damage. Surprised that we haven't seen a tower take yet this far into the game. But Jillzilla is pretty low. Elite Neat potentially looking for lethal here, but it's pretty hard to kill Ornn. He's tanky.
Yeah, good. Something else worth mentioning here, so...
Oh, just allowed to flash.
So red team, Alphalol, they've picked 3 champions. I'm sorry, fight going on bot lane.
Yeah, Kindred coming here to contest Mizuza, picking up a kill onto Hypebot. Kindred ult is still available, and Vanguard's here to back them up. Alphalol is pressing forward. This could be the first tower blood that they need to start to snowball. Bottom tower so low, there's no way this can be defended. Mizuza pushing forward to claim the tower, and claim the tower they do. Shoving in the wave afterward. They're going to be able to pick up Earth Dragon off the back of this as well if they play their cards right. They still have the mana advantage before Hypebot comes back on the map, so this should be an uncontested Earth Dragon. That pink ward getting dropped in the pit that Google East was not able to do in game 1, so this should be a relatively easy and safe Dragon secure.
On the other side of the map though, Elite Neat's in trouble here.
Yeah, giving his life for the cause. Perhaps an overextension here. He really wanted top tower, I think, but it's a little bit unnecessary.
A little bit sloppy there, I think. Like, he knew that his team was all focusing around bot lane to make a play there, and you know that it was likely to be a cross-map play.
Right.
So, this TP could be pretty dangerous.
Yeah, Mizuza channeled his teleport and canceled it, and then Vanguard channeled his teleport and canceled it. So. A little bit of miscommunication there. I agree with the cancel, but the fact that you have to waste 2 teleport cooldowns essentially to not get anything, that's really unfortunate.
If either of them had finished, they just would have straight up died though.
Yeah, agreed. One thing that we haven't really seen come into play is this triple teleport from Alphalol. It's
we have Trundle taking the Rift Herald here.
Oh, it's a good choice on their part.
Soloing it.
This is actually a really powerful Herald. I want someone to try and take it because it's such a big objective now this patch. But Google East can tend to just smack mid tower as it's undefended. Vanguard rotating out to try and wave clear. Lulu's a little bit out of position here. Not really sure what Yellow Ember is doing. Looks like he's just going to rotate back top toward Mizuza and keep him safe as they try to push for top tower. Google East having none of that though. They're matching the rotation.
Something else I'd like to mention here. It's very interesting because Alphalol actually has 3 champions who are building scaling items. Oh, another fight breaking out here.
Yeah, Zedia auto-attacking this choke point, and looks like Google East is just going to disengage and... Oh, do the Herald! Nope, never mind. Windowbreaker's here. It's pretty scary for them to fight against him because Fizz ultimate is a death sentence, more or less.
That's a big Fizz too. He's Sheen, Protobelt, Sork Boots. That's scary, especially when you don't really have a tank.
Yeah, there's no one really to eat that. They have to either soak it using Zedia's ultimate or try to use Lulu spells to negate the Fizz damage, but both of those are awkward solutions. Vanguard drops his Black Shield in mid lane trying to survive, and he'll be alright just to wave clear. Yeah. Oh, meanwhile top lane, Zedia finding Tessier! Getting the flash already. So much burst damage. Zedia gets the kill, has those Lulu stories, runs him down. It's going to be a really nice pick in getting shutdown gold onto Zedia.
No. Gelzilla trying to kill the...
oh, Elite Need, another one on the back. Things are starting to turn up for Alphalol.
Yeah, agreed. Although, that said, it's only a 1,000 gold differentiating them.
Yeah. They're going to be able to get top tier here, which is really nice for them. And they're going to maintain bottom pressure as well now that Elite Neat has teleport and got his solo kill. So if Alphalol can maybe try to play for Rift Hill, they're really short on time though, and they're going to have to reset. So after this reset, doesn't look like Google East is interested in doing Rift Herald either. I'm surprised by the lack of priority from both these teams, but
looks like it's not going anywhere.
Yeah.
They've only got 30 seconds left to take it, so...
Yeah, with the Baron spawning in 40 seconds, how do you think that's going to change the map rotations that we're seeing?
You know, I don't think it's going to change them at all for about 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, I don't think either team's strong enough to do it.
I don't think either team is strong enough to try and force anything there.
Yeah, Baron does a lot of damage now.
It does, and you know, Alphalol doesn't really have a tank to tank the Baron, right? So,
right, yeah.
You know, they're not going to be able to do it.
Yeah, they can sort of shield tank it with Lulu, but it's kind of awkward, yeah. Not super exciting.
No. And then if you get caught, like, you know, back to front with a Fizzult, that's not going to be pretty.
Ooh, yeah, agreed. Elite Neat recalls out of bottom lane as Google East tried to collapse. It's going to be fine with that outcome. Has teleport available, but there's going to be a huge flank coming out into the mid lane, and looks like Gelzilla has the trap here. Zedia getting a lot of damage down, has to cast ultimate to survive. Can Lulu Stories get him out of it? No, he goes down right away after the ult ends. Michael's here, but he doesn't have Swain ultimate available, I believe, and Yellow Emperor is just going to go down on the back half to Tessier, I believe. Windowbreaker jumping in, Mizuza getting damage off. They get a kill back onto Fizz. Elite Neat gets that one, and it's going to be 3 for 1 in favor of Google East at the end of the day, and that should result in a mid-tower take.
That Israel's pumping out a lot of damage right now.
Yeah, maybe they're actually, the health bars are so low. Does Elite Neat have ult? He does. If he can pick one up here, it's going to be really good. But the Braum shield breaks. The Swain root doesn't go through.
Yeah. So this is actually, I think this is about as strong as, you know, Google is going to get. They've finished their scaling items. You know, 2 items coming in for all of them. The tanks on the side of Google East are not that strong yet, not that tanky.
Ooh, Tessier getting so much damage here.
That is a big Kaiser though.
Yeah. Oh, Prashant dies for mid tower. I don't think that's worth it.
I agree with that.
Oof. Well, as it is, Zedia farmed the top wave, Vanguard farmed the bottom wave, so Alphalol gets to reset their waves, so it's alright, but they're going to lose this rotation because they have no one to defend mid tower now.
We saw the difficulty of their team comp in that last fight, where, you know, they got a pretty good engage onto Gelzilla, but, you know, he's so tanky. And then Google East just re-engaged with all of their, you know, AoE CC, and, you know, it was really not pretty for Alphalol. Yeah.
Yeah, they just don't have great ways to interact with the engage. They can import Morgana shield on one member, and they have Lulu shields. Ezreal can arcane shift away, but ultimately, Alphalol still needs to kite while DPSing, and if they get split apart too much by the engage, even if they live, the damage is already done. They need to be stuck together and kiting as a unit, whereas Google East is much happier with a chaotic fight.
Right. As soon as they get split apart, the Kaiser and the Fizz are just going to just destroy that fight.
Speaking of split apart, Zedia is on his lonesome here. Has to use ultimate as Tessier ultimates forward. And they're going to finish Hypebot off of that, so maybe an overextension from Google East. Elite Neat looking to pursue. Picks up the kill on Tessier. Mizuza ultimate picking off Braum. And now Gelzilla is alone. Trapped here with 4 enemy members. Goes down. That's a huge fight victory for Alphalol. They're not going to be able to convert to Baron because it's a little too far away. If they run straight to it, there's a chance, but it looks like they're just going to commit to pushing bottom with their Mizusa and Yellow Emperor. They're going to try and get bottom tower damage.
Yeah.
I'm surprised the fight turned out the way it did. Google East actually initiated that one, but Zedia's ultimate just coming in really clutch there.
Well, they were fighting between two towers.
That's fair. Oh, they haven't actually. You're right. Huh.
I mean, Tisha died in the back end of that fight by kiting into the outer tower.
Oh, you're right. You're
So-
right. Yeah. So maybe an overextension there. I think it was the right idea, but they need to deal with these waves first before they go for these fights.
I also, I would, if I was Google East, I wouldn't mind watching, letting Alphalol force the tempo. Like, I don't feel they really need to force anything. Like, I feel like Alphalol's sort of at the strongest they're going to get right now on like the 2-item spike.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it ever goes super duper late, they have Orin items for Google East, and Fizz scales really
Also-
well, Kaiser scales really well.
I mean, Israel's build, right? He's got Trinity Force, Mirror Mana. If he gets 2 more items, does he get that much stronger?
Yeah, and Zedia kind of just alone here at Baron. That was a little
This could be
weird.
really ugly.
Yeah, if this is Baron, that's a really bad.
They didn't even invest any critical ults in that fight.
Yeah, Zedia just sort of walked where he wasn't supposed to with no team support and dies, and he's
Whoa,
such
look
an
at that
important
shot.
member of his team right now. He's the recipient of the Lulu Morgana steroids. Hypebot has to use his ultimate to live here. You go super low, teleport channel forced out of Window Breaker, but it gets cancelled when it looks like Google East can disengage. So Google East gets the pick onto Zedia, but not able to convert into Baron control really. So that's all right for Alphalol.
Yeah, again, I don't think they need to. I think they just want to delay another 5 to 10 minutes. Then
Right, right. Alphalol, on the other hand, really wants to get Baron. If they can get Baron, their siege is so powerful. Baron really just completes their composition. They can still get hard engaged while they're Baron sieging, but so much harder, especially because they can just push the waves into the tower, throw their poke from the safety of their minion wave.
This Israel's really doing a lot of damage right now, though.
Yeah, very farmed. If they can get their Seraph completion onto Ezreal, that'll be really nice. Let's see what the tier stacks are at right now. 377. If he can get the Seraph completion, he'll stack pretty quickly. Be able to hit that time for Baron. Zedia looking to trade. Oh, doesn't have... Oh, dies with ultimate available. Vanguard getting chunked out. Fizz doing a lot of damage during this fight, and Mizuza's here to try and punish, but Teshay just going forward gets so much damage, and Vanguard's going to need to leave. He cannot stay here at health bar this low, but he's going to try and keep mid tower alive. Yeah, there's just not really a way they can contest that. Yeah, the banner really messing up Elite Neat. It's so hard for him to deal with it. And it looks like it's the Baron call from Google East. Alphalol cannot really afford to relinquish it, but they have to go home. Their health bars are too low, and that's just going to be a free Baron for Google East, I think.
Well, if they're gonna do it,
they're not starting it. I'm actually really surprised. I think they really could have just done it because
that would have been free.
Yeah, Kaisa just burns Baron. Melts it with the passive, and they have Trundle to tank. They have Ornn there to punish with ultimate if Alphalol tries to contest, but they end up just not going for it. I think that's a critical mistake. Honestly, Google East can afford to just do Baron, and even if they lose 3 or 4 members, as long as they take Baron off the map, Alphalol can no longer really win. Alphalol needs Baron in order to play for their siege, and as long as it's on the map, Alphalol still has a ticket back in this game. Speaking of Baron, a little bit of skirmish for Vision over here, and Alphalol has dumped Elite Neat in the bottom lane, has his teleport available, so he can join this topside fight if something breaks out in the Baron pit.
Jalzilla has his, he can match though.
Right. Jalzilla recalling to do the match that we have just mentioned. Yep, he's walk balling.
Yep. Cloud Drake up in 50, not a critical Drake, but I'm sure that both teams wouldn't mind it.
Yeah, surprisingly relevant, I think, the way these compositions work, because it's an engaged team versus a kiting team. Both teams really like move speed in that situation, so now that Cloud Dragon gives in combat speed, it could be relevant.
A little surprised they put that banner minion in the mid lane.
Yeah, kind of just yeah. I agree.
Oh, they have 2 banners. Okay. So interesting. I guess they're just running out of cannon minions to use it on. Oh, Elite Neat.
Oh, that's not where he wants to be. He gets fish, has to use a stopwatch. Oh, unfortunate, because Elite Neat really would have liked to have it up during fights, but has to use it. Gelzilla is behind, potentially looking to flank here. If Alphalol gets trapped in this choke, it could get really ugly. Elite Knee walking really far forward alone, and here's the Ornn ultimate in the choke. Gets a big knock up. Oh, this is the Swain! Swain getting so much damage in the choke point, has no flash available, but Braum getting low window breaker on the side, but has no ultimate available, so he has no presence. Yellow Emperor flashing forward to try and look for that one, but not able to get it. I think it's just going to be a dragon take from Alphalol.
So I think that Google East engaged a little bit early there. Like,
yeah.
Because they engaged a little bit early, they were forced to come through the choke at Alphalol.
Right, yeah.
You know, if they don't get that clean engage, once all of their ults are down, Alphalol's just going to kite them out.
Yeah. It's a good Ornn ultimate. I think it's okay. I think Google East feeling like they need to commit harder than they actually need to, whereas they could have just used the Ornn ultimate, force cooldowns defensively, and then disengage. And Alphalol looking to start Baron, but they're off the... They would take too much damage finishing it off, and I think Google East could contest.
Yeah, agreed. And so, you know, this Swain is doing work in these team fights.
Oh, this is really weird, though. Google East is totally opposition. They committed half their members to try and push mid, whereas the rest of them stayed in the top side jungle, and they lose 2 here. This could potentially be Baron. Oh, so indecisive from Alphalol. Some of them want to do Baron, some of them want to go top tower. They decide to go for the top tower. Kai'Sa's still mid. Fizz is going to recall, but he can't do anything to stop this siege. It's a little bit of a base trade situation here. Kai'Sa pushing mid solo. They're recalling Vanguard to try and stop him, while the rest of the roster looks to push for top inhibitor. This is such a weird position. Alphalol's trying to recall, but the Fizz ultimate cancels their backs, and they get the top inhibitor, but at what cost? Kai'Sa takes mid. It's going to be a disengage. I think overall the top inhibitor is a little more valuable than the mid inhibitor, so I think the exchange slightly favors Alphalol, but they could have gone so much more. They had the double pick near the Baron, and they could have just gone for it. Zedia has ult available here. This could be a fight breaking out. Zedia has his ult. He drops it. Tesche is forward, uses his ultimate to commit, and he goes down, but so does Zedia. Yeah, Yellow Emperor's totally isolated. Mizusa's still alive, though, getting damage done, throwing out his Qs. Vanguard here to turn this one around. There's a split fight here, and Window Breaker goes down. Yellow Emperor getting chased down by Hypebot. Can he kite this one out? His teammates are fighting in the top side of the river, zoned up by Gelzilla and Mizusa, eating fruit to heal back up, and Yellow Emperor commits his ult on himself and lives. So it's a 3 for 2 in favor of Alphalol at the end of the day. No objective taken.
Google East will be thrilled with how this all panned out.
Yeah.
All picked next to Baron, and they traded inhibitors.
Like,
that's amazing.
Amazing, yeah. So happy with that one. So yeah, Google East, they still have time. They can still reach a point where they can team fight. They have this 3-item, nearly 4-item Kai'Sa, and that's going to be so hard for Alphalol to deal with. They don't have great tools for punishing this Kai'Sa for overextending.
You know, I would quite like to see Kai'Sa pick up a QSS here, because she got destroyed by Lulu Polymorph at the end of that last fight.
Yeah. Seeing a QSS would be a lot better. It looks like it's Death Stance components right now, but yeah, Mercurial Scimitar would be a lot stronger. Death Stance is not bad, and there's still time for a Murchison pickup.
It's just with Morgana and Yellow Emperor.
Yeah.
You know, that QSS is so valuable.
Right.
Mention the fact that Mizusa's doing a lot of hybrid damage with this build.
Yep. Agree wholeheartedly with all of the statements. Well, Elite Knee does have teleport advantage over Gelzilla, and it's going to be able to prep these bottom waves while the top lane supers do their work defending the slow push.
I think that Google East is just going to force Baron here to force Elite Knee to TP.
Yeah, I think so. It's the right call. But they're really afraid of starting it looks like, and they're rotating back to mid, they're rotating back to Baron. I really think they can just start this. They don't have to commit. They just need to force Alphalol to come in so that they can get the engage they want, but they just don't want to start it, and Elite Needs having all the time in the world to just run these bottom waves down.
Here they go.
Finally starting it, but they do it really quickly. Kai'Sa's hitting. Alphalol needs to go soon. Window Breaker's tanking Baron, gets chunked out a little bit. It's half health. They're just not committing. They need to do something. They need to finish Baron or they need to turn. They can't just stand here. Elite needs teleporting in. Hypebot going down right away. The really nice ultimate from Zedia. Oh, but a huge knockup goes down. Zedia going down. Mizuza's still alive, though, getting damage off. Josel flashing forward to try and pick him up. And it's 5 for 1 in favor of Alphalol. A really nice team fight for them. Elite Knee getting a lot of damage with his teleport. They try to start Baron, but they realize they don't have a tank. So they decide to... Oh, they're going to end. Do you think they can do it? They have no Zedia, but Mizuza's still alive.
Seconds. I think they can do it.
It's close.
It's pretty close.
They have a super. They have a double super minion wave. Oh man, this is so close. I think they have it, but it's really knife edge. Yeah, they have it. They have the spawn timers are too long. They're gonna seal this one out. Tie up the series 1-1. A really crazy back and forth game 2 here.
That was a really fun game.
Yeah, that was a crazy one to cast. Alphalol had some early game hiccups, but they were able to stabilize, and Google East just was a little indecisive. I feel like there were a lot of moments where they could have just forced an engage that was favorable to them, but they ended up taking engages on Alphalol's terms, fighting in awkward choke points, and they just never able to get the clean engage they wanted to seal that one out.
Yeah, I agree.
Gonna take a look at my favorite stat, wards placed, and I'm glad that Google East stepped up their control ward game. They have control wards purchased by all members of their team, a big improvement from last game where they were just like, oh, we're so far ahead, we don't need to buy control wards, which is probably true, but also a little sloppy. It's really easy to throw, you don't have good vision control behind your gold advantage. So both teams looking to clean up and enter game 3 with a fresh state of mind. The series tied up 1-1, playing for tournament life.
Absolutely, this is going to be exciting.
Yeah.
You know, I'm really glad that we split those games, because now we get the game 3.
Yeah, game 3, here we go.
And who doesn't want free League of Legends?
Yeah, the more the merrier.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I don't know why anyone would be watching MSI rebroadcast. They can be here watching the Google versus Google quarterfinals for AHGL. This is where it's at. League of Legends storytelling at its finest.
You can't get better than this. This is, the zenith of the, not just the zenith of League of Legends play, but the zenith of casting.
Yeah, exactly. You get to hear the two soothing voices of Carlton and myself.
Papa Smithy doesn't have anything on us.
Yeah, yeah. If you aren't feeling relaxed before you start watching, you're definitely feeling relaxed now. Just a nice, casual Saturday afternoon.
All right, so let's talk picks and bans.
Yeah, yeah, right.
What do you think that these teams are going to do to adjust? So far, their bans have remained mostly static.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I guess by induction, perhaps we'll see the same bans in Game 3, but but it was just a little bit odd, right? Because we saw the sort of reversal in team compositions between Game 1 and Game 2.
Yeah, it was really interesting to see that. And so far, both games, the team that we sort of thought of as a bit fragile and has come out on top. So, maybe kudos to both teams for executing well on the comp, which was required that execution.
Right. I think one thing that's sort of symptomatic of that is that both these teams are very early game focused, and if they get behind, you can tell that they're not super comfortable playing at a gold deficit. Both of them really like to play for advantages and play for tempo. So the team that is able to establish early control tends to be favored. So because of that, I think it makes sense for both these drafts to be early game focused. I think that's part of why we saw the Mundo pick not pan out. I mean, besides the crazy level 1, I think just the style of both these teams, they both really want to scrap.
One caveat to that, I would say, in the first game, certainly there was a large gold lead, but in that second game, the gold was pretty even all the way through, like 25 minutes.
Right, right. Yeah, I think this is definitely a rank disparity thing. Alphalol definitely has a bit of a more decisive macro sense. We saw them go for that late game end, and in that same position, I'm not even sure if Google East would have seen that line. They've been really hesitant about committing to objective plays. They've been they looked really uncomfortable in Game 2, even though they had a position that I thought was pretty good. They just were super afraid to commit to a fight. Nope, I've been invited to a custom game. Excellent.
All right, we see the sub coming back in here.
All right, some roster changes, putting their undefeated mid laner back on the roster.
I mean, that said, like, you know, Windowbreaker had a great game last time.
Yeah, yeah.
He did a lot of damage down, made a lot of key picks. So
Yep.
no comment on him.
Yeah, I suspect it's more of like a compositional choice rather than a player performance thing. I think they just want to run a certain type of composition. I assume their champion pools are different, which we saw. I assume Windowbreaker is an assassin player?
He tends to play a lot of assassin chess.
Yeah, okay.
Hence the talent down in the fizz pick.
Right, right.
I think, to me, what's been key here a lot has been that the team that's got like the more hard CC seems to have been winning these games.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair assessment to make.
Whichever team is like works well with like, you know, putting down the hard CC and getting picks seems to have been coming out on top.
Right. Yeah, since both teams like to scrap, if you have crowd control, then it works out pretty well for you when you're taking these crazy skirmishes.
Right. So.
On that note, I hope we see the Malzahar ban, because that looked really good in Game 1. Don't really want to see...
I completely agree. I think if they get like, you know, Malzahar Skana again, that's going to be ugly.
Yep, agreed. So, shuffling up the rosters.
There was nothing wrong with the Trundle play. It just, you know, I didn't feel it was as impactful as the Skana was.
Right, yeah. Yeah, one thing to note about the Trundle last game is that I guess he technically got compositionally countered because Alphalol one-upped him and said, "We don't have a single tank. Who will you ult now, Trundle?"
Really
it's the long con.
Yeah.
I still think the Maokai would have been really strong, but ended up working out for them.
It's been worked out in the end.
Yep.
I agree. I would have liked the Maokai as well, but, you know, they won, so who are we to...
Yeah.
Clearly,
No, results-based thinking. If it worked, it must have been good.
Yeah.
That's how League of Legends works, right?
Oh, you know, many solo queue players who would certainly tell you that.
Yeah. Return of the Jukebox. Phoenix Jukebox.
Mm.
Ready?
Well, they're locked and loaded.
Alright. I think we're
At least
ready
one
as
thing's locked
well.
and loaded.
So,
Looks like...
1
Alphalol
minute waiting for my water. Oh, so we can get some critical hydration onto Vanguard.
Alright, so they want me to speak louder, apparently.
Okay,
Or
okay.
you turn me up, one of the two.
I have you at 200% on Discord right now, so you're about as loud as you will get. I can change my
You know what?
stream settings a little bit.
No, I'll change my microphone settings.
Ah, excellent. Thank you very much.
Sure.
Yeah, it'd be a real shame if they couldn't hear both of our soothing voices.
Absolutely. Input volume? Extra loud.
Ah, excellent. TIL Vance. Vance living large, getting his water delivery. They're called interns. Boiling. Oh, cold hands. Ooh, that's really important. Don't want to play League of Legends with cold hands.
He's getting the cold, sweaty hands there.
Yeah.
Feeling the game, dude.
Oof.
Getting nervous.
Yeah.
Getting nervous.
You know, there's a reason why all those LCK and GSL players they carry their hand warmers with them on stage.
Are they
Gotta
hand warmers
stay.
or are they chalk bags? I never worked for that.
Oh, that's a good question. I think they're
Are they-
hand warmers. I'm pretty
I
sure.
always thought they were. I thought they were to keep your hands dry rather than warm.
Oh, that's possible. Yeah, now that I think about it, I assume they were hand warmers just because it's pretty cold in Korea for most of the year, and I've heard anecdotal stories of their hand warmers, but they could very well be
believe
could be chalk backs as well.
Yeah.
I do know there
just
is.
used
Oh yeah, go ahead.
I'm used to seeing a lot of athletes do that for other sports.
Oh yeah, right. Makes sense. Get that dry grip strength. I do know there is one StarCraft player, I don't remember who it is anymore, but he had really sweaty hands, just unfortunately. So he actually played with a mouse. Oh, sorry, his mouse was covered by a towel while he played, which I think is really amusing.
Brutal.
Yeah, he was actually he was a pretty high-profile player. I can't believe I don't remember who it is anymore, but just funny stories from
Yeah,
StarCraft
for
2.
sure. For sure. Used to play that game back in the day, a long time ago now.
Yeah. Yeah, speaking of Korea and MSI, I'm sad that my the West versus the best narrative has been broken because Fnatic took a game off of Kingzone. It's really sad. Oh, spoiler alert! Shit. I'm sorry. If you were
All you
eagerly
just listened
anticipating
about
that MSI game, I'm sorry if I ruined it for you.
Yeah, let me just go down the rest of the results so we can ruin those too.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and at the end of Avengers Infinity War, Jar Jar Binks kills Snape. Sorry, guys.
No, I'd pay to see that.
All right, and we're hopping into the draft.
All right.
Alphalol on blue side. Let's see what they take out. Will there be up the 80 carry bands once again?
They really don't want to see this Jinx.
Yeah, I guess we'll never know exactly why they don't want to see it, but I assume it's just.
I want to see this now.
Yeah, like.
They've hyped this up today. I need
Yeah,
to see this.
Tessier, some kind of crazy Jinx master. Gonna OP.GG this, honestly. I want to know.
We got like an 8.0 KDA here or something.
Yeah. Ooh, he's a big Jinx player. He has 271 ranked games on Jinx just this season, so it's by far his most played champion. So I guess that makes sense. It's just target pick, taking away his most comfortable champion.
Reasonable. Looks like his other ADCs, Trist, Twitch, and Kai'Sa. So
Yeah, interesting. We saw the
so they're
Kai'Sa,
taking the Jinx
but
and the Trist.
oh, that actually makes a lot of sense because the Kog'Maw in game 1 was a
Oh, wow.
denial pick, I believe.
All right, so completely going against what we were saying.
Oh.
Instead of leaving the ADC alone, they're doubling down.
They're like, nah, you don't get to play these champions.
All right, so back to the Israel. This actually worked really well from them last game. Well, after the start, but
Yeah.
it started a little rough. But once they got to the team fighting pace, he was pumping up so much damage. He actually ended up doing about 20% more damage than the Kai'Sa, despite how
Oh, that's
far
really
ahead he was.
impressive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Surprised. One thing that's a little weird to me is how much priority is being put on it, because I don't think Ezreal is contested, but I guess it's going to be 3 80 carry bands followed by 80 carry first pick.
It's a really neutral pick, though. I mean, it allows them to flex their comp around whatever.
That's fair.
So here's the Vel'Koz. This was banned, we remember earlier.
Right.
And so they've changed that out and put in the Kai'Sa ban and it left the Vel'Koz up. So, big hype there.
Yeah.
I guess that's a mid Vel'Koz.
Ooh, a Rek'Sai. That's it's interesting. I actually like this a lot. Gives
do too.
Alphalol some early pressure options. It plays into that sort of skirmish style we've seen from both teams.
They can build it either tank or assassin depending on what they need.
Right. Do expect to see Vel'Koz mid or Morgana support, although it technically is possible to flex that. But from what I've heard, sounds like Phoenix Jukebox is a known Vel'Koz pilot. Ooh,
Alright,
there's the
so a
Kog'Maw.
very strong team fight coming out here from Google East.
Right,
already.
yeah.
Massive
Kog'Maw,
AoE damage.
Vel'Koz, Morgana, a lot of area denial too.
Yeah. Conversely, on the Alphalol team, we're very strong skirmish here.
Yep. This Vladimir is potentially a flex pick, but I expect to see it go on to Vanguard. I don't think Elite Need is a big Vladimir pilot. How does Vladimir do into Vel'Koz? Are you familiar with this matchup?
I honestly don't know.
Doesn't sound amazing. I feel like Vel'Koz just wave clears, and Vladimir has a rough time with the range differential. Malphite gets banned. I think that's really smart.
I think it's a really smart play
yeah.
because that would destroy those two mobile carriers.
Yeah, for sure.
Mundo actually could be really ugly as well.
Yeah, I actually really want to see Mundo picked here. Really looks like they're trying to give Elite Neat the top lane counter pick, but he may not get a chance to because he is blue side.
I'm questioning this Nami ban a little bit. I would have quite liked to have seen the Mundo ban instead of the Nami.
Yeah, I think so. I think Mundo's the right blind pick here. We saw Renekton hover earlier, but honestly, Mundo is just so strong. I'm okay playing it into the Renekton. Just
Yeah. Renekton's just gonna get shredded by all of the random damage in these fights.
right, right. Ooh, Braum.
It's a reasonable pickup.
It's a little odd into the Morgana. It makes sense with Ezreal and the composition.
Yeah.
Lulu is normally okay, but I'm actually ambivalent with it just because I really dislike Lulu Ezreal. Ezreal just doesn't auto-attack quite as much as other carries. It doesn't go for an attack speed-oriented build.
It is a very strong lane, though.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
Like, the amount of damage they both pump out early on is insane.
Right.
So
So they just need to suppress Kog'Maw. It's
I
the
can appreciate
Maokai
it,
hover. I really want to see the Mundo. It looks like they were really tilted off of game one. Didn't like how it played, but honestly, I think it was just unrelated factors. The Mundo pick just seems really good, and really hoped they would pick it, but I guess not.
Yeah, I mean, most of Vel'Koz's damage is coming out magic. He could have built full MR and just been golden.
Right.
Alright, so we're going back to the Ornn here. I wasn't super impressed with this Ornn last game. What did you think?
Yeah, it felt a little underwhelming to me. He didn't provide that much presence in lane. I don't think that Jelzil is necessarily a bad pilot, but Ornn is just really weak right now. He's received so many nerfs off the past handful of patches that it's just, you have to perform so well on Ornn and use his utility so well to compensate for his just really low base stats now.
I thought he did okay in lane. I mean, it's not an easy lane for him, and he kept the farm differential the same.
Right,
like,
right.
Basically, even farm, even items. But I felt like, you know, if you're going to pick Ornn, you have to hit those crucial ults in team fights.
Yeah, yeah. Especially compared to just easier execution tanks like
Right.
Maokai, who is a lot more stable,
Right.
so reliable.
Right, like Maokai is fine. Like, you know, his ult provides enormous threat throughout the fight. He has consistent hard CC. I think Ornn's a lot more difficult, and you know we'll have to see how that pans out this time.
Right. Yeah, one thing I want to note is that normally I'd suggest that Google East's composition scales really well in the front-to-back team fight, but they are an extremely magic damage stacked team. Kog'Maw does about mixed 50-50 physical magic damage. Ornn does a little bit of physical damage, but he's a tank. Gragas is a magic damage tank. Morgana, Vel'Koz, all magic damage. So we're potentially in a position where Maokai can become an unkillable monster with 2 or 3 magic resist items, Adaptive Helm, Spirit Visage, and Maokai's just really happy to build all of those.
I want to see Vlad build a Spirit Visage.
Yeah, that would be a really nice pickup.
That said, a bit of Vel'Koz's damage will come in as true, so
That's fair.
I think it's like about 30%, right?
Yeah, yeah. The ultimate and the passive. Is the passive true damage, or is that magic damage? I should know this, but...
Did they change it? It used to be true, but they might have changed it.
Yeah, because I know the ult's true damage, so...
Well,
I'm
ult's true
pretty
damage if
sure...
you have a fully
Yeah,
stacked
right, right, yeah. I think it's true damage. All the same, though, Maokai's going to have so much health that even with the true damage, it's going to be okay taking a couple hits.
Yeah, okay, it is true.
Alright. Thank you for confirming. Wouldn't want to convey
Alright,
false
so-
information on stream.
Level 1 again. What are we thinking? I feel like this time Alphalol has a pretty weak level 1.
Yeah, gonna have to agree with you on that. I guess they can Maokai root and then Rek'Sai knock up.
Rek'Sai?
Ew,
Oh, God,
that's
Rek'Sai does not want to take
yeah, that is very unappealing for both of those champions.
Yeah.
And Morgana bind, on the other hand, into Gragas body slam, much lower commitment, potentially
Vel'Koz
much more
Q.
powerful. Yeah.
Yeah. So I really do not want to see Alphalol for the 3rd time in a row 5-stack invade. I feel like that's a bad decision for them here.
Agree wholeheartedly. Do not really want to see that.
Alright, well, we have here 45 seconds. The game to go to semis.
Yep. Yes, one thing I am going to keep in mind is who has lane priority in the early game here. Which jungler is going to have more freedom?
So, I mean, Rek'Sai should be the stronger jungler. Top lane should be pretty even. Mid lane should have priority, though, for the Google East.
Yeah, yeah. Vel'Koz's wave clear is pretty hard to contest early on.
Particularly
Vladimir
with
can
Vlad.
eventually attrition out his mana before first recall, but it takes a while.
Yeah, agreed. I feel like bot lane... Bot lane's pretty hard to call.
Yeah, yeah.
Give the edge to Lulu Israel.
Yeah, I think
it's a
so.
little bit easier for them to, you know, provide pressure.
And Morgana can hit some like clutch binds. There's definitely a way they can win trades, but barring that, I think Lulu Ezreal just has more control over the minion wave early
Yeah.
on and can harass.
Yeah, that's my thoughts as well. It's like it's not that Google East doesn't have a way of winning that lane, but it's it's much easier. Like Lulu's just annoying. I hate playing against Lulu. Like as an AD carry player, I hate Lulu.
Yeah. You're winning the trade, and it's like, bam, the shield comes on, the taxi destroys. It's like, what?
Yeah. I'm not gonna lie, I ban her a lot.
Makes sense. I actually ban none a lot because Faker does it, and
Oh,
it must
yeah.
be good.
Channeling, you're in a faker. As long as you ban none, you're basically faker.
Right,
Everything
right.
else is just window dressing.
Yep. It's not about taking away powerful champions. It's about winning the psychological warfare. And by not banning, you demonstrate your lack of fear, and that just gives you an insurmountable advantage.
All right, so it looks like a full defensive 5-man spread from Alphalol, taking to heart what we just said there, that their level 1 is not their strong point.
Yep.
I'm really glad to see this after their Game 1 fiasco.
Yeah, that was definitely really unfortunate for them, so I agree. Probably not the best decision to stake their tournament life on for Game 3 of a set.
It's just nice smart play here.
Yep.
Looks like Red Team, Google East might be trying for something here. They're going to try for
Yeah.
the sneaky
Oh,
wraparound.
Mizuza, he sees it. You might have to flash the binding here. He flashes it,
He
so he
does.
gets out, but it's another free flash, just like in Game 2, and Google East just playing some really clean level 1s here.
That was a nice smart play. They had priority.
Yep. Ezreal being flashless, it's not the worst thing in the world as far as flashes go, but it's definitely a nice advantage for Google East. Gragas can potentially visit this bottom lane if Ezreal and Lulu overextend.
Something interesting to note here is that Zetia is actually starting blue buff, but Lulu Israel are trying to fake the leash.
Yeah, that's quite interesting.
So I think they're trying to set Zetia up for an early gank bot lane, would be my suspicion.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. Especially because like this tank versus tank top lane, there's crowd control, so a kill can happen, but it's a relatively low impact kill as far as things go, because either way both those tanks are just going to farm it out. So.
Yep. And the other thing here is that Rek'Sai has some really annoying gank paths for bot lane. He can actually invade into that red side jungle and then come in behind them.
Right.
By tunneling under the wall. So you see this happen a lot, actually.
Somewhat interestingly, we've actually seen wave priority coming out for Vladimir mid, and that's going to be super good for Zedia here. This is not exactly what we expected.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah, Jukebox getting super outclassed in lane already. Vanguard just winning these trades and getting Qs that he really shouldn't be allowed to hit.
Yeah, he's getting fully charged Qs off here.
Yeah.
So something that confuses me a little bit here. They clearly set Zedia up with pathing to gank bot lane early, but then they hard shove the lane.
Yeah, a little bit odd. He does get a ward to try and get priority, and he's just going to return to his own jungle and farm, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the end of the world. I would have expected that, given that's how they set the jungle pathing up, they would have, offered him that gank opportunity.
Right.
By freezing the lane back at their own tower.
Yeah, Gragas invades for Gromp here, but there's not a lot for him to do topside. Although Jelzil has priority, Jelzil is also out of mana, which means he's not going to provide a lot of presence here if Gragas decides to visit. Does not look diveable in the slightest.
Yeah, I think it's very difficult for those two to kill a Malco anyway.
Hypebot walks on out of there, and Zedia passes the reward, finds his missing Gromp. Should know that he's been... Oh my goodness, I missed the kill in mid lane. Did not expect that one to happen. Both summoners getting blown from both mid laners, and Vanguard picks up the kill. I assume he just flash ignite forward for the kill.
Well, he charged up his Q, and then just flash Q
Ignite.
W ignite.
Yep.
So, nice
Clean
play
kill.
by- Yeah, clean.
Meanwhile, in bottom lane, looks like we're about to get a kill. Mizuza and Yellow Emperor just destroy Urius. Yeah, they just win a trade and just continue auto-attacking. Urius overextended, goes down without even committing flash.
It's a tough lane. If you miss that binding as Morgana,
Yeah.
You're just done.
Yeah, you just have no presence anymore, and compared to Lulu Ezreal, who have so much just sustained trading presence, it's not a lot to do after that.
Very nicely played by Mizuzu and Yellow Emperor. They basically waited till Kog'Maw things. Oh, here's a dive coming in.
Oh, here we go. This
Here's
is
the
potentially
dive.
really critical. Kog'Maw's out of mana, uses his W. Lulu pulls aggro. Mizuzu a little bit.
Oh.
Oh no, he thought he had heal! He teleported to the
He had
tunnel. A little bit of a mistake there coming out of Mizuzu. Forgetting what counter spells he has equipped. I think he was dead either way, but it's kind of unfortunate.
He did change the play.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure he hasn't practiced with TP very much.
Yeah. Oh shoot.
Oh.
Yellow Emperor potentially overextending here. Just baiting out some flashes, no big deal.
Gonna die.
Oh, 1-for-1. Tactical play from Yellow Emperor, baiting out 2 flashes to get the 1-for-1. I'm sure he planned that one out. Ends up working out in his favor. Really greedy recall there, so I think he should have recalled a little more safely, but good consequences ensued. Must have been a good decision. Zedia, meanwhile, recalling a bot lane.
So Vance here has level 6, while Vel'Koz is stuck on level 5.
Right.
So it's pretty tough for him.
Let's see. Take a quick gander at his experience bar. Yeah, Vel'Koz is still halfway to 6, so he's really far behind in experience. This is going to be a big window. Vladimir can just deny him.
Something else I'd like to point out here. Notice what Vance's first item is.
Wow.
Yeah, he's picked up Lucidity with Predator.
Yeah, that's really interesting. I guess Predator does make sense on Vladimir. He kind of uses it like Ghost, and he can just move speed in and get his big burst rotation off in team fights.
Yeah, exactly. So the other thing is I think he's clearly looking to roam.
Right.
Either that or he's just looking to use it to just kill Vel'Koz again and again.
Hypebot is walked mid lane, I guess, to break the freeze. Makes sense. But he doesn't even quite get it. That's really unfortunate. Phoenix Jukebox is very sad right now. He really needs his level 6. He needs these 3 melees really bad, but it's so gross. Vanguard posturing so aggressively, just zoning him off of this wave. And
getting behind against Vladimir is just miserable.
It really sucks. But a fight
nice
breaking it
cask.
down, bottom side, gets that cask. Yellow Emperor goes down, and Mizuzu's not quite able to trade it back onto Morgana, and just sort of exits this trade to keep farming.
Really pretty Gragas cask to start that fight. Blew Lulu all the way into the team.
Mizuzu does not have his support with him, but looks like he's able to farm at range because he has Ezreal, and oh man, just brutal trades from Vanguard coming out there. Phoenix Jukebox finally level 6, but out of mana, was not able to buy any mana components off of his first death. Chainsaw Flyer is going to continue to leverage his sustain advantage. Makai and Ornn, they're farming in top lane.
Farming difference. Are you still concerned?
But a dive going down. Vladimir ult getting casted, and oh my goodness, a really clutch dive there. Zedia narrowly lives, getting the reset off of his ultimate for the iframes. They pick that one up, and both of them are going to recall. The Hypebot is there, but he's a little too late to make something happen. He's going to have to pad toward his red buff.
The one bright spot here, I'd say, for Google East is that the Kog'Maw has the 2 kills.
Right.
Because I think at this point he is their win condition.
Yep, Black Shield Kog'Maw, just have him walk forward. There's not a ton of burst damage, so if there's a position where they can't one-shot Kog'Maw, if they can't get their Vladimir onto priority targets, then Kog'Maw can just sort of A-move through the Alphalol team.
And if you had to pick like one of the 2 out of Vel'Koz and Kog'Maw to be behind, you'd pick the Vel'Koz.
Right,
He still does
for sure.
damage.
He has bases.
But nice when you do like 200 true damage on you.
Yeah, it's like, oh, nice. Freebie. Just land my spells. One thing I am worried about is, again, the magic damage focus from Google East. It means that the magic resist itemization is going to be super brutal. Already have that Spectre Scowl coming onto Maokai. Really hope to see some magic resist itemization coming out onto Rek'Sai and Vladimir as well. Maybe a Hex Drinker for Zedia, a Spirit Visage from Vanguard like you mentioned earlier. All those would be appealing options.
Spirit Visage just seems like such a value pick.
Right. Is Zedia committing really aggressively here? Has all of his own jungle camps up, yet instead choosing to ward and look to dive bottom. So this is a very high risk play. If this doesn't work out, he loses a lot of money off of lost camps. Oh my goodness. he's stuck here. This is really bad. Vanguard's on the
Oh,
rotation,
beautiful.
but Zedia gets bound up. A
Beautiful.
great cask. Tessier getting his damage on. Zedia just goes down. That's such a risky play on his part. He did not need to take this risk. All his camps are up. His bot lane has to flash out Ordinal to make gets casted. Mizuza dodges it, but he's a little bit stuck. Gragas goes forward, but does not have flash. Mizuza gets slowed up, and he's getting trapped by Gelzilla here. Maokai not having teleport available, but is potentially going to look to trade the tower back. Will probably win the first tower trade if he plays this right. Just a really sloppy play from Zedia. He overextends when he doesn't need to. His mid laner doesn't have priority yet. They don't have the vision they need, and all 4 of his camps were out, which means he loses a huge potential tempo lead that he had before.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah,
He didn't even sweep. Like he's sitting
yeah,
there
yeah,
for a
right.
sweeper.
It's just
In the
really
jungle.
greedy. Yep. Vanguard running forward. I'm not sure if that's where he wants to be, but maybe he's proving me wrong because Zedia gets Tessier. Google East not even able to take Dragon. Zedia living for so long. Vanguard also getting a lot of damage off, healing through this fight. He might go down. Flash comes out from Hypebot, but Yellow Emperor keeping his friend Vanguard alive. Vanguard nearly has Ignite back, has his charged Q. He is dissuaded by the Vel'Koz, though, from re-engaging, and Mizuza's here should be able to pressure this, force them to leave, and even though Google East wins this fight earlier, they get nothing for it. They don't even get Dragon, and they actually lose first Tower Blood top lane just due to the immense pressure that Maokai is generating.
And they're down 3.5k gold now.
Yeah. Unfortunately for them, for Alphalol, a lot of that gold is on this Maokai, but I guess that's not even really that true in this game, just because if you can accelerate your Maokai and give him the magic resist he needs, he can actually just be a damage threat. He can just sit in the middle of the team casting Qs, and if he doesn't die, then, well, doesn't matter if you're not bursting people, you just get so many rotations inside their team that you become a carry.
Well, plus, I mean, you know, having a fed tank is never a bad thing.
Right,
especially
right, yeah.
The itemization path is so clear.
Yeah. Oh, interesting to know there's also minion dematerializer on Maokai, so that's part of why he's been able to get that push advantage. It'll be interesting to see whether or not he saves those to try and eat banner minions later on, or if he just cashes those in to get his better wave clear.
Vlad is also up almost 2,000 gold.
Ooh, that is a lot of money. Yeah, Vladimir has just been suppressing Phoenix Jukebox so much in this early game. How's that Trellius too?
He's strong enough. He started that fight by going predatoring and getting a 4-man ult and survived. So, and you know, Google East blew a lot on him and didn't get the kill.
Yeah. Yeah, this Trellius is going to be super powerful for Google Alphalol, just because the move speed makes so much sense with their composition. It's going to really smooth out their engage. It's going to help Vladimir get his rotation off onto priority targets. And speaking of priority targets, there's a 4-man bottom. The dive doesn't quite happen. Tessier and Yurius walk on out there, but they're just going to give up the tower. So
Much better play that time. Zedia waited for Vance to rotate over and invaded with him.
yes. A big improvement. Evading with your team is good. It looks like Elite Need teleporting into mid lane, looking to fight here to defend mid tower.
This could be really ugly.
Oh, and great W cast from Twisting Advance from Maokai. Dodges all those spells, gets the root onto Vel'Koz, and Vladimir just picks that one up easy peasy, uses ult Ignite, and Morgana trapped here alone. There's no one to help her, and she goes down to 5 members of Alphalol, and just 3 members, 2 members going down for Google East, and it's going to be mid-turret.
This game is rapidly spiraling out of control.
Yeah, it's going to be...
Let's
Oh,
go
a
for
flash
the-
twisted advance.
yeah.
Yeah, he cannot be there. The threat zone on that Maokai is so huge, and he's so tanky. There's no way he's going to die. He's just healing over and over again. The mid tower's
that's a
still up, so this
5-man.
could become ugly, but it looks like... Oh, Elite Need finally going down. Oh, Vanguard...
Oh, 3.
Okay. Well, that's not working out alright. They get most of mid tower, but a little bit sloppy from Alphalol. I think they could have just reset and come back
Agreed.
for it later.
This will have 5k gold, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Alright, so they recall, they cash in their gold. Oh, it looks like at some point Ornn had actually picked up Rift Herald, and that's going to be really nice if They could get a tower exchange, but oh, it doesn't look like they're strong enough to escort into the next tower, so that repair ends up being pretty low value.
Did you see when that was? I totally missed that.
Yeah, I totally missed that. Did not even know that happened.
They're turning into a dragon though, so, you know.
That's something.
Well played.
Yep. I would have liked to see them commit hard to the Rift Herald push. Rift Herald push for multiple towers is just so powerful now. That I think you really want to get the crashes. I guess they're not really able to contest at this point in the game, so they get as much as they can. Yeah. Ooh, he's looking for it.
He is looking for it.
Oh, it's a little zoned out.
Oh god, that Vel'Koz damage to the Maokai is just sad.
Oof, yeah. Looks like Morellonomicon coming out of Vladimir. I would have liked to see Proto Belt. I really like Shrelia's Plus Belt. It just means you have so much backline access. But
well,
Morellonomicon, yeah. Maybe a little redundant.
Yeah.
Redundancy's good on Vladimir just because his kit's so binary, but I like the Morellonomicon as well. Healing reduction's really nice against
I'm a little
Gragas.
surprised though, just
Ooh.
primarily because, you know, he's built non-Sork shoes, and flat pin's usually nice if you're stacking it, right?
Right. That is fair.
So,
A little bit of a lost synergy, but gets valuable utility either way. Oh, Zedia eats some spells, but is fine. Vanguard 1v3 bottom. Looking a little grim for him.
Didn't quite break the tether.
He's pulling 3 while his team pushes topside, but it doesn't look like they're able to get too much. A little bit of an overextension from Vanguard. Really didn't need to be there.
I think he just thought they weren't all going to come down for him. But
Yeah. A fair judgment, but they didn't have the vision ready.
Mistaken.
Vel'Koz working toward sorry, not Morellonomicon. Luden's Riot Games says, change it up on me, so Vel'Koz working toward that Luden's Echo. It's going to give him the mana he needs to wave clear the cooldown reduction, but before he has that, it's going to be kind of gross. Really needs to get gold for that soon, otherwise they're not going to be able to wave clear and defend this siege.
I mean, it's 16 minutes and he doesn't have an item, that's pretty rough.
Yeah, hard times.
Yeah, agreed. Vance almost has 2.
Got an Infernal Dragon spawning next, so that'll be pretty exciting to watch out for.
This, I think that the Kog'Maw's building a Runards next.
Yep, makes sense. Triple dagger, not too many build options for that. So
yeah, you know, I wouldn't mind seeing him go 3rd item like Wit's End or something.
Yeah, that would actually be alright.
Just to try and sap that magic resist from the enemy team.
Yeah. Magic resist really valuable against Vladimir and Maokai, and the shred just helps his own team as well.
Yeah, exactly. If he can shred, like with the Runards, he can shred on the entire enemy team. That'd be so strong.
Yeah, just use the Wit's End as AP Black Cleaver, and
yeah, that's basically.
Enable the rest of his team, but doesn't look like he's gonna go for it. I agree. Would have been really cool adaptation, but.
Well, you know, he needs the Runards. I don't know if this game's going to go long enough for them.
That's fair.
To get 3.
I mean, I guess the idea is what's higher expected value. If you can get Rune on bolts on multiple targets, hold that thought. Orin casting his ultimate, looking for the engage, sort of whiffs it, but Maokai going to turn that one around with his own twisted advanced redemption, getting thrown down by Yellow Emperor. Maokai, just going to walk forward. Zedia overextending a little bit. Lulu ult goes down, but Zedia falls. Prashanth looking to pressure forward on his Ezreal, but nope, doesn't look like they can get more. Vanguard gets his ultimate, but just not able to finish anyone off. 1 for 1.
The idea of their comp coming to fruition here.
Yeah.
Disengage, hard CC, then the Kog'Maw will go to town, but you know that's a 6k gold. That's pretty tough.
One thing you want to call attention to is the control word placement from both these teams. There are 4 on the map for the blue side right here. But the one of them's in a weird spot. There are some nice control wards defensively placed for Google East, but overall, vision control definitely in favor of Alphalol 0, just because they're winning, and they've taken towers, so they have the freedom to place wards further up.
It's ugly as well. Alphalol 0, the Ezreal's really coming online right now. He just transformed that mirror mana. He's got the completed Triforce. Ugh. Look at that chunk on the Vel'Koz right there.
Ooh, yeah, just some really brutal Qs, and the cooldown is just so low. You can just keep fishing for those, and if one hits, it just hurts every time.
Yeah. And like Ornn's built pure MR, so he can't. And so is mostly true on the Gragas as well. So there's no way they can tank those Qs.
Yep. Zedia prepped the top wave and is now farming the red side jungle. Gonna find Morgana here and could get caught if he's not careful, but he's gonna walk out of there. Yeah.
He can just buffer the tunnel anyway, so.
Baron's going to be spawning in 20 seconds, and Alphalol 0 is potentially in a position to fight for this. They have such a strong composition. They have people to tank for it. They have Lulu shields to keep themselves healthy as they finish it off. They don't have the fastest Baron in the world, but because it's so healthy, they can just start it, force a Google East to try and contest, and then turn it on them with Maokai Ultimate.
Yeah, they need to invest significantly more in vision if they want to do that, though.
Yeah, right now their controllers are all bottom side, so they definitely need to push up the vision line. I would like to see them buy new pinks and push up their controllers, because the ones they have right now are not particularly useful.
Hold that. Israel's going to town on this Ornn in the bot lane.
Yeah, he's just running him down. Can he get out of there? Going forward, needs one more auto attack flashes forward to get the 1-for-1. Ah, that was not really the right play there. Yeah, not a priority target.
Giving the Cogmore the kill. Ooh.
Yep. A little sloppy. Seeing that bloodthirsty streak from Mezuzah that we know and love. Always looking for those kills, always looking for those outplays, and sometimes he outplays himself, but it happens to the best of us. Teleport getting channeled here from Elite Need. He's looking for blood, drops his ultimate, and catches a lot of members. Zedia picking up Kog'Maw on the back end, and it looks like it's just going to be an easy fight for Alphalol 0. They walking down with their crown control, and there's no way for Google East to get out of that one. It's going to be an Infernal Drake pickup.
This Maokai's basically a god right now. No one can touch him.
Yeah, he's so strong.
And similarly, Vlad can just run into these fights with impunity.
Yeah, Maokai has 108 magic resist, 175 armor. Is just not going to take damage from anything. One thing I am surprised about is the Sunfire completion, and now there's a Glacial Shroud being worked on. I think this Glacial Shroud is going to build into Banner of Command, which I believe still uses that in the recipe. No, wait, Banner of Command builds out of Aegis Raptor Cloak now. So I'm so confused that Elite Need prioritizing this armor instead of magic resist.
CDR maybe he wants?
Yeah, perhaps. Mana CDR, but if he just builds Visage, just finish the...
He just finished the Crystalline Bracer.
That's really odd. I
don't know what's going on.
Yeah. Elite Need, finish your items, get magic resist. It's good. They do magic damage. Well,
not much of any damage right now. So.
Yeah, he can just heal tank through most stuff with health if he really has to. And I would like to see more magic resist. Not a lot going on right now. It's just wave bounces. The team's prep for Baron.
So the Cogmore has finally finished his Runans, so that's really good for them. Morgana's working towards her Zhonya's, which will be crucial as well.
Yeah, that will be a really nice completion. Get that counter engage going. But it's rough. Ooh, Nature's Grass getting casted from Maokai. It's gonna clip Gragas, I believe. Can they go for the dive? Doesn't look like they want to. They're gonna back off. We have Gelzilla in the top side, splitting for top tower. He has teleport available. Just really split pushes all over the map. All these different lanes getting shoved and contested, and no fights really breaking out. It's just a wave control game right now.
They've been kind of stuck on these two inner towers though for a while now.
Yeah. Haven't been able to break it. I guess I understand since it's hard to dive Kog'Maw straight up at this point in the game, so I really want to see Alphalol 0 just play for Baron, because that's the way they break on the base at this point. It's too hard to dive Kog'Maw, even with this Maokai, just because there's too much sustained damage. Speaking of which, Kog'Maw is just auto-attacking Elite Need down. Elite Need flashing forward to try and turn it, but not quite in range. Oh, gets knocked into the team! Lulu ult goes down onto Elite Need. He's healing up. Zedia diving a little too deep. Throws his ult to reset Power Aggro. Vel'Koz's ult hitting a lot of priority targets, but Vanguard gets to the pool. Zedia going down, and it's going to be 1 for 3, but it's not over yet. Gelzilla looking to cast his... Oh no, whiffs his ult completely, and he's just going to go down for free here, I think, yeah. So it ends up being 4 for 1 in favor of... Oh, Gelzilla has left the game.
Are they going to pause? Okay.
Oh, that's really unfortunate. Did he miss his spell because he disconnected?
I think he might have, yeah.
Oh, that's super unlucky.
Yeah, that is. That's
Worst
really
possible time. Oh,
bad. Yeah, heartbreaking.
I don't think there's anything we can really do about that.
No.
So I think we're just gonna have to resume. Not sure if he could really have gotten much, because he might have been able to go 1-for-1 at best. I think at that point he just called off and not take that fight, but as it is, he goes down. Looks like it's going to be Baron startup for Alphalol 0. They're hitting Baron. There's no one here to stop him, so it should be a pretty easy pickup. The Baron's actually quite slow, and it's going to take a while, but I don't think there will be anyone here in time. Lulu's shields are going to make sure they do this healthy. Vanguard's just sustaining out with his natural healing, and the Baron is secure. They technically did not have Smite with them, so there was a potential for a steal, but they just do it fast enough that it goes down before anyone from Google East is prepared to stop them.
This is Baron's going to be really tough to hold off now.
Yep.
It's a 10k gold lead. So we do see the Cogmore is building the Wit's End.
Yeah,
So I really
interesting.
I really like that.
Yeah. Perhaps might have been better to complete that before the Hurricane. Just not sure if Kog'Maw... How many targets is Kog'Maw hitting? I guess if you can get Hurricane procs on both Kog'Maw and Rek'Sai simultaneously, it's probably still worth it to go the Hurricane.
Yeah. The problem for him right now is that like his team just seems unable to be able to peel for him.
Yeah, yeah.
Because every fight, like, it's just Zetia and Vanguard are both running straight at him.
Yeah, they have tools to disengage and peel, but it's just Zetia and Maokai have so much health, just so much bulkiness.
It's very tough when you don't project threat.
Yep. Well, we see those double mana item completed for Ezreal. He's charging up his Seraphs right now. He's about halfway there. And we see a Righteous Glory from Maokai. So that's what he was building. I get the idea, but I just really want to see more magic resist. Like, getting this useful utility, getting your engage is good, but if you just don't die, that doesn't matter. Spirit Visage healing would have been super critical here.
I agree.
Well, it's going to be the Baron Siege. Hard for Google East to do anything about it. They're going to have to try and take a fight here. And it's not going to be a fight that they're happy with, but take it they must, because there's not a lot they can do against the Baron Siege right now.
Yeah, they need a good cask, perhaps, or something like that.
Yeah, maybe a good Ornn ultimate that could seal the deal.
Yeah.
They're trying to best the wave clear. Vel'Koz casting his spells on the wave, working on a Morel Nomicon. Vanguard applying Baron buff to the mid minions. Giselle going in for a trade, doesn't look like he can commit. And the issue here is just Google East so split apart, they can't defend both these lanes simultaneously. They just need to pick a side, commit to a fight, and go for a kill. Elite Neat cracking his Righteous Glory, dashing in, getting a lot of damage on Redemption. Gragas cast blows them backward, and Elite Neat just goes down before anything really happens. Mizuza's free hitting, but Zedia goes in as well. It looks like it's just going to be a complete wipe. A huge overextension.
I question blowing all of your abilities to hard engage in a Gragas.
Yeah, they get the bottom turret, but at what cost? They kind of just punt their Baron away. They didn't need to go for that. It was on Google East to engage. If you're Alphalol there, you just
have tower and they force that.
Yeah, you just wait. You play your Baron Siege. You don't have to do anything, and you win. So.
Like, as soon as you blow your engage tools, the Kog'Maw gets a free hit. So.
Yep, exactly. So they overcommit. Tishay pulls off a really great fight, and they end up surviving for a bit longer, and that's going to give them some breathing room. They need to hold out for quite a while before they can really be comfortable fighting, though. Vel'Koz really needs to ramp up so they can eat through these tanks, and they're fighting against this scaling power. Maokai, as soon as he completes 1 or 2 more magic resist items, will never die, so they're on a bit of a timer here.
You know, I would have kind of liked this Kog'Maw to have picked up a early executioners at some point.
Yeah, that would have been a good, excellent choice. I agree. It's a little awkward because you don't really want to have a mortal reminder, but all the same, just someone needs the healing reduction. I think that's why Vel'Koz is working on Morello.
He's clearly trying to get Morello, but yeah, I mean,
a little bit too little, too late here.
And Vladimir, yeah. So I only just picked up on is, any sort of healing reduction could have seen these fights go a little bit differently.
Yep. It's going to be a Earth Dragon pickup for Alphalol 0. Not the greatest thing ever, but they're alright with it. They have nothing else to do right now, and looks like Maokai is going to prep the top wave, all the rest of his team sieges. They're going to get 3 waves of pressure, Vanguard in mid, Elite Need in top, and the rest of the team just shoving out in bot lane.
How close are we to the Seraphs on Ezreal now?
Let's take a look. Yeah, he nearly has it. Just like 5 or 6 more Q-casts, and I think he's going to pop in. That'll be really nice for him entering this fight. He's going to be super strong. He has Bork, he has 2 mana items, he has Trinity Force. He'll just rip people apart.
Absolutely.
Yeah, he's getting 79 attack damage from his pure mana right now. That's a lot of mana.
Yeah, he'll get about 133 AP from the Seraphs as well once it transforms.
Yeah, the Seraph shield is going to be ginormous as well, so still a lot going for him right now.
Absolutely. Alright, I do not want to see Elite Need blow all of his stuff on Gragas again.
Yeah, Elite has to be a little smarter about his target selection, and honestly, sometimes he just doesn't need to select a target at all. Just the uncast bid ability is the deadliest. When you have to respect the potential cooldown, right? Like you said, if the Maokai cooldowns are up, Kog'Maw can't go forward. Well, just gonna keep on sieging, keep on dancing. 3 waves of pressure. Kog'Maw with Morgana here, looking to force out Vanguard.
Yeah. Kog'Maw's starting to scale. If they can delay this another
Oh, they get a stun onto Prashant. Mezuzah getting chunked out here, tagged by the Vel'Koz laser. Morgana flashing forward to lock him up, and he goes down. Great Hourglass, and Elite Neat shows up with his teleport, throws down Nature's Grasp.
That pulls down.
Yeah, the issue is that there's just no more damage left now that Mezuzah is dead, and they're just going to get run down here. Just really sloppy. I don't really get why Alphalol 0 is being so greedy, trying to push 3 waves simultaneously. They can actually just death stack down a lane, play around their Maokai, play a slow, patient siege, and eventually they'll break structures. But they're just playing so thin on the map that I think they're sort of overestimating how much of a gold lead they really have. Like, they are very far ahead, but they're not far ahead enough to 3v5 in bot lane.
Right. And Vladimir's like, he's no longer being able to like just bully. Like, Ornn's got so much MR.
Right.
And Kog'Maw with the Wit's End similarly, that they're actually able to sort of hold him with just one person in that lane. So.
Yep.
All right.
And
get out of there. He's got to get out of there or they give up Baron.
Yeah, if he gets out, it's alright. Google East will pick up 2 turrets off this, which is really nice for them. Gets them some much-needed gold. But there's no. It's a while, yeah.
That could have been ugly.
It's gonna be awkward recall, but Baron's up. Yeah, they're just totally out of position. I think it's just gonna be a free Baron. There's no way they can contest. Yeah. Yeah, I get the desperation because you want to take towers and get gold back into your pockets, but you can't afford to give Baron like this.
Yeah, they needed to recall so that they could have hit this Baron timing.
Yep. Maybe Vel'Koz can shove and get a lucky steal. Nah, he's not even going to be close.
It's not worth it. If he dies,
there was a chance. I think he went for it, but unfortunately, Zedia's on top of his smite. He collects the Baron, and Alphalol 0 is just going to reset, walk back on the map with their Baron, and look to break the base.
That was just a shot calling error there.
Yep.
They should have all had recalled and been stacked at Baron.
Yeah, they can afford to go mid lane as a 3 or 4 man unit, but sending so many people bot lane and then not even getting the tower, really critical mistake there.
Yep, agreed. All right, so we have the Morellos just coming in Vel'Koz. That's huge.
Yeah, that's a really important completion. If they can get healing reduction on Maokai into Vladimir, then they can maybe look to turn fights around. Kog'Maw can eat through them as long as they're not heal tanking, but it's going to be rough either way. Ugh, Elite Neat, building more armor! He's building a Thornmail! I understand the idea, but like just build magic resist. Really have mixed feelings about this Maokai itemization.
I can tell. Like look at the Rek'Sai, he's got it right.
Yeah. Zedia knows what's up.
He's got I mean, at least he's finished his adaptive helm, which is just like god tier item against their team.
Right. It's an amazing item. But just a Visage onto Maokai would the functional defensive stats he gets are so high.
It's a big Kog'Maw now. their whole team fight revolves around Kog'Maw. If he survives, they can win team fights. If he dies, they've just lost.
Yep, agreed. He's their shining beacon of hope. Has to pull off the 80 carry miracle. There's definitely one in which it happens, though. He's been a very good pilot so far, showing some really nice spacing. So, if Elite Neat takes a lot of damage, but there's no one to defend bottom lane, so Teshe is going to be slow in the rotation. Here we go, 4-man stack. This is the way you do it. You don't have to 1-3-1. And they're just going to rotate back to mid, take another tower. Nature's Grass getting thrown down. I think it's just a zoning ultimate to clear the wave.
Good play.
Oh, don't quite get the tower. I think they can do it on the next wave, I think. Vanguard pressuring bottom.
Nothing there for them to care about anymore, though.
Yeah, yeah. I think he's just escorting the Baron minions in, and he's going to rotate back, which is alright. Really want him to be mid, though, because the only way that Alphalol 0 here loses is if they're out down a man against the Kog'Maw. Here we go. Righteous Glory popped.
He's going on. Alright.
Elite Neat getting chunked out already by Teshe, and he's cutting back where the redemption goes down. Ends up not really resulting in a big fight. Predator is cracked from Vladimir. He's looking to go in. Has his ultimate available. Flash ult, hitting 2 priority targets. Drops to the pool, and Google East is zoned out, and Gragas goes down on the backlight trade. That's going to be mid inhibitor, and it looks like possibly the game. Will Alphalol 0 commit? They have 2 waves of minions here, and they have supers in the bottom of wave coming up very soon.
They've done a lot of critical ults.
Oh, that's true. Zedia flashes in. They think they can do it. He goes really low. He get chunked out. Nature's Grass getting thrown down. Mezuzah throwing out his keys gets a lot of damage. Ease forward. There's no damage turn around, and yeah, Kog'Maw going down. I think that's going to be it. No one's left to defend, and it's going to be a Game 3 victory, set victory for Alphalol 0. Oh, hold that thought. Volkaz throwing an ultimate. Zeus is really low. Wait, I don't think they can end. It's really close. Wait. Maokai goes down. Gragas flashing forward. Oh man, they actually turned this around. I have to eat my own words. Alphalol 0 making me look a little bit foolish. They are unable to end there. Well, I look a little bit silly now, but Alphalol 0 is still in a pretty good position. They got the 2 inhibitors, and they got the Nexus turret, so they're just going to be able to move out back onto the map and siege for top. A little bit sloppy on their part, a little bit of indecision. It looked like half of them wanted to end and half of them wanted to leave, because they were not super committed on Nexus rushing. They just sort of skirmished inside the enemy base at low health, which is not exactly what you want to do in that situation. Elite Neat finishing Thornmail. Just sit on the Bramble Vest and buy Magic Resist.
I think the common theme here.
Like, this game is just so much easier if Elite Neat just has MR instead of all this armor. Like, Kog'Maw hits you, sure, and you do reduce the Bork damage, but Kog'Maw's doing magic damage to you. He has Wit's End. He has his W passive. It's mostly magic damage. So this armor is all really useless.
It's interesting. So Kog'Maw had the stopwatch in the last fight. I think he's going to go grab Guardian Angel.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. He just needs to live through these fights. Well, I think there is definitely a case being made just for lifesteal, because I'm not sure if his team can get him out of his GA just the way they fight. I think if he goes in the GA, the fight's over already.
Agreed. So I would not have been sad to see like a Mercurial. Like
yeah, he could still sell the stopwatch, but yeah, I think Mercsim is definitely the right option here.
Hell, I would have even seen an argument for Gunblade.
Yeah, honestly, yeah, that'd be decent. Just heal tank through it. Make sure you stay alive, stay healthy, don't get bursted out.
Here we go. It's the final fight.
Yep.
Probably.
It's gonna need to happen soon. Google East needs to pull the trigger before these minion waves crash onto their naked nexus. They need to get ready. Teshe is being held mid by Vanguard. He's rotating back here. They have to pull these supers. It's just so awkward for them.
Only one who can clear the supers.
Yeah. They need to pull the trigger soon. They need to go for the fight. Baron's up at 50 seconds, so this is their only real chance. They need to go pretty soon. They have their ultimates available. It's hard. It's a really gross fight. It's hard to engage into this, but they really need to go for it. They can't afford to give up their top inhibitor. Alright, here it is. Orin Ultimate getting casted. This is the final fight. Yellow Emperor gets knocked up. Elite Knee Righteous Glory's in. Gets rooted. Vanguard on the flank, but gets cast back. Vel'Koz gets a great channel here. And Zedia dashing in. Gets a knock up onto Morgana. And Michael, Elite Knee not dying. Teshe does pick him up, though. Teshe is still alive. And they're going to turn their sets on the Nexus. Can they stop them? The Super Maidens are crashing the wave. Mizusa is hitting, and they get it. That's going to be the conclusion of the game. Congratulations to Alphalol 0. They take the victory and advance to the semifinals. Thanks for both these teams for giving us such a great set.
Yeah, this was fantastic. A lot of close games, a lot of backwards and forwards, some interesting strategies. Been a pleasure to watch.
Yeah. It is such a chaotic style from both these teams. Really interesting to see them skirmish together. A little bit of sloppiness from both sides, so I do want to see Alphalol 0 sort of clean up their play, clean up their macro as they enter the semis. But overall, a lot of potential for both these teams. So a big shout out to Teshe too. He pulled off a really great series. He played really well.
There's a lot of good plays from a lot of people actually in this.
Yeah, right.
You know, I think just about every player had their moment in this series. That was really nice to see.
You got some really cool team fights going on.
Agreed.
Well, I guess, yeah, that'll be it. If any of the viewers are still here, thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this as much as we did. And we will see you later and follow the Alphalol 0 team as they progress to the AHGL.
Absolutely. All right. Have a good day, everyone.